Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 20, Into the Labyrinth. I have read the light novel for Mushoku Tensei, and I'm joined by two people who are watching the anime for the first time, and the first of those people is Kyle Entertainment.
Eat shit, Bacon. I got introduced first. You suck.
Alright, and the next person is Bacon.
Yes, me. I am
You
back.
should have said save the best for last, idiot.
Well, I'm ready to improve on my score of 7 out of 10. Carl, let's get you up. Let's get your numbers up, buddy.
When she peed, it was actually hot.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeez.
Anyway, okay, well, Into the Labyrinth.
You like how I thought about what I was going to say if EliteAri introduced me first, or Bacon first, you know. I'm just thinking of bits. That was all on the fly, too. And I
Alright,
have a
well.
great peeing joke, and we're a minute in.
Yeah, we're getting there, okay?
Yes.
We'll save that all the way until right at the end of this recap, okay? Because it's like the last thing that happens in this
I
episode.
see.
So,
Wait, why does Bacon want to bump it up? You love this episode, EliteAri. What's he talking about?
No, I was talking about bumping up your numbers, Carl, because you got a 1 out of 10 on our marking.
because our
You're
amazing
graded.
commenters, you know, they actually commented a lot last episode, and one of them gave us nice ratings, and I think I was a 9.5. You know, I'll take that. That's pretty good.
I was everybody's savior from
That
Carl's
feels like
brain dead
so
takes.
long ago. There's no way.
It
Wait,
was like
has
2
Bacon
weeks
only
ago.
been back for one episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, you got a 9.5, bro?
Yeah, you
think
know,
you're
I'm pretty
10.
Yeah,
good.
because he gets
yeah.
things wrong sometimes.
Yeah, that is also
I
true.
see.
And maybe I
see.
like miss the
Yeah.
point of certain things. Maybe I'm not like, you know.
Well, I actually don't
really
think my
dial
score's
in.
going up this way because I feel like it's just a bunch of Millers who are just like, oh, they don't agree with me, therefore bad.
Oh
Possibly.
my goodness, Miller the Killer killed in real time by Jarkey Bacon right here.
I'm not wrong.
He's not even going to see this Bacon. He's defenseless. My goodness. I'll tell him to watch the first 2 minutes. Don't worry. But also true.
Okay, so guys, what did we think about episode 20 Into the Labyrinth? What are your overall thoughts?
Okay, I've got something. It was
Alright.
the worst looking one in the show so far.
Oh
It's
my
a real
God.
shame considering it covers some of the best material
Really?
today. Hopefully it gets better in the next few weeks, but somehow I doubt that. There we go.
Oh, it's a
That's my
Crunchyroll
thoughts.
comment.
No, this is
Was that a
my
Crunchyroll
tweet that
comment?
I made after seeing the episode, because that is
And I
true.
get to like it.
It is the
How did I not
worst,
see this?
the worst looking Mushoku Tensei I have ever seen.
No.
But it's still, you know, it's actually, I was
Did it
gonna say it's not that
look
bad, but it still is actually, it actually is very bad. There's a lot of good
It
shots.
was
Okay,
bad.
it looked bad. Okay, it wasn't bad. I thought the episode overall was really good. It's just such a shame, you know, to see a bunch of really like, we're holding on shots for so long, and the shots themselves, if they look good, it'd be great, but the shots themselves look so like blurry and low detail and just bad, and in the background and awkwardly framed, and the storyboarding's bad, and the art is bad, and I don't like it. But you know, there's some good stuff, like the background image right now, which is, you know, Roxy and Rudy looking at each other, and there was a lot of good stuff as well. But anyway, art bad, good episode
Okay.
though.
Well, thank goodness Ari actually enjoyed it because I thought this episode was pretty poor.
Oh wow, okay.
Rushed Mushoku Tensei content as always. Oh my word. We're just like, oh, there's water
Oh
here.
my god, I see the tweet. It's
yeah.
real.
Actually, maybe we should go through it, but I thought the first bits were good. It's
Mhm.
just the last, like, once they enter the cave,
Yep.
it's going so fast. It's going so fast, and there was literally, like, no ability for me to have, like, any emotional, like, feelings whatsoever. It was like, oh, we're here now. Like,
Yeah.
no time for me to adjust. I will say it's fun, and it's also not fun being called up. Why did I join you guys on this? I just wish I binged it.
Yep.
What else? But yeah, it's cool. I mean, there was some nice moments, but then it also feels like, I'm gonna do a best guy ever moment and say seems awfully convenient, and convenience is how stories work. But they have to
Interesting.
try
I
and
wonder
hide
what
it
you're
better
talking about.
than what Mushoku Tensei. Well, okay.
which-
I feel like the fact that he got like robes and they mention it. I'm sure it's like almost like I imagine in the light novels they overboard you with so much information that you feel like it's not. But here, it's just feel like everything's a Chekhov's gun. So of course they mentioned that his robes are like poison resistance, and then of course there's spiders in here or whatever bugs. So I'm just like, okay, that's why. Okay,
I don't even know
nice.
if that's like a
And
thing.
then there's also like, and then he's like given like a a book, and it's like, oh well, yeah, this book is going to be useful. It's like, oh, we use it in the episode straight after, kind of thing. It's just like, oh, and then it
True,
fixes
I
all our
talked about
problems,
that.
kind of thing.
See, I would,
and it's like
Another great Kyle prediction.
I don't even know what to say. I think I would say that, you know, coincidences you see are not always that bad. You know, you can have reasons for coincidences, and they can be logical.
no,
if you
but
think
it
about
is. No, I'm not saying coincidences or things being contrived or convenient in stories are
Mhm.
bad, because that's what they're built upon. I'm just saying you have to trick me not to thinking that, and it's like the pacing is just so short that it's kind of like. And there's ways where this Chekhov's guns are good, right? I mean, it's
Well,
you know,
I
Mr. Chekhov used Chekhov's guns because he thought they were really good, but you know, like here, it just feels like a bit too like, oh well, we're using this later. Oh, and we did use it later. Nice, very surprising.
oh boy, I don't want to like spoil anything. I don't know. There's like, I think sometimes you need to have some faith in the show, okay? Sometimes
Shut the fuck
coincidences
up,
they
Bacon, that's what you
they
need to
happen
do.
for reasons, you know. There's like more to things if you read into why things are happening for convenient reasons, you know. But I can't say anything, right? In the comments, please don't spoil anything. But you know, I don't know. Coincidences, you know, are they always coincidences? Who knows? Maybe there's reasons behind them. Anyway, okay, interesting. Wait, let me also say I did
I get
echo
to do
the.
my overall
No, wait,
thoughts now?
before Kyle's thoughts, I have read, you know, volume 12 before, and I've read it pretty frequently. And it is a lot faster in this anime, just like everything else. And I was concerned if we were gonna like lose a little bit of the emotional investment. And it is interesting to see that Bacon kind of did think that. Because obviously I can't really tell, but
I was
yeah.
like, oh, I found water. Flash to Roxy. Oh, I found her straight away. Like, I'm just like, okay, well, there we go. All done.
I
Bish,
thought that
bash,
cave
bosh.
shit went on forever.
Oh my god. You've said that the whole scene. Every time they're rushing through everything, you're like, it was so slow. I'm like, Jesus, Kyle, that's good. You would hate the light novel then.
No, last time traveling was great, and apparently they sped through some boring book bullshit about camping or whatever the fuck. Nobody cares. And I remember specifically the idea EliteAri's thinking about is the fucking snow shit that went on for 17 goddamn years, and EliteAri's like, oh my god, they just threw it in 4 episodes. This is Volume 9's best stuff. Oh my god, that was such a great EliteAri jab right there.
Thank you. But it's
Anyway,
Volume 7.
first of all, I want to know if everybody hates this episode or if Ari's just being an idiot. That's your turn.
God, did you not
I've
like-
read it as
I don't even know how to know.
this episode?
Well, don't you know these things? Don't people complain?
I mean, it was so long ago. I don't know. I think I've
tell Crunchyroll comments.
generally everyone's like, yeah, good. But I mean, maybe there's a lot of hate that I just didn't see. I don't know. It seemed like a very average kind of. Some people thought it was good. Some people just thought it was okay. I don't know. The comments can let us know, I guess.
Comments just now. They were all just like, Roxy's back, my queen, I love her, soy. And they're a little horny with it too. And then also there were some of those spoilers that Bacon doesn't know about that I know about. But luckily, EliteAri, when I clicked the spoiler tag just now, it didn't spoil me because I was already spoiled.
Fantastic. Okay.
There was another ominous one that I'm probably not going to say, but it didn't spoil anything specific. But
Okay, good.
nonetheless. I thought this episode was just fine. The Roxy stuff at the end was good. The talking to Paul stuff is bad, but it's always been bad because Paul and Rudy's relationship is uninteresting and sucks. And all the characters in Mushoku Tensei are mid. The traveling stuff at the beginning was cool.
What
and
does
that
that
was all
even
the
mean?
episode was, really.
What is the traveling stuff at the beginning?
Well, I just scrolled through the episode, and for the first minute and a half, they were in a town. And that town was pretty cool.
So you like the
so
3
eat that
shots
bit.
we get of inside the town, and that you consider that traveling?
Yes.
Okay, wow. All right, cool.
I wish I could travel through a town sometime. But I have some other thoughts, but they're all little ones, and I guess we'll just talk about them as we progress.
All right.
I like the episode more than anybody here, so comment section, this is a little awkward for you.
All right. Arrival is the first part here. So
Convenience and art. That's what you get out of these 2 idiots.
yeah.
My goodness. Anyway.
Well, that's
I'm here with
because
the
Carl,
big
you've
brain,
never created any art in
opinions.
your life, so you wouldn't know.
Oof, yeah. That's
Oh.
okay.
Oh.
Rudy and
I'll
I
just
create
Alina
art for a
Lies.
living. What can I say?
Oh my god. All right, we're ready for the recap.
Yes, EliteAri.
Okay.
Waiting.
So, this is the part that Kyle loved in the episode. My 3 dot points I have here. Firstly, Rudy and Alina Lies. They arrive in Rappan, which is the city's name, I think. And they head to the local adventurers guild. And Alina Lies says that Geese is building intelligence networks. So as long as they like mention his name, then, you know, he'll find them eventually. But turns out they run into
Geese is
Geese.
his real name, EliteAri? Oh my god, that's genius.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. How is that genius?
Because he's a spy dude, and I should have known that because his name is Geese, but that's silly.
What the hell does Geese have to do with being a spy? What does that mean?
Didn't you just say he has a spy network everywhere, you idiot?
Yeah, what does the name Geese have to do with being a spy?
Because it's stupid and a fake code name,
Okay.
obviously.
All right, okay. Anyway, the spy network was pointless because they run into Geese straight away. He's already at the Adventurers Guild. And Geese, he's surprised how quick they got here. I guess everyone is surprised how quick they got here, which makes sense, And he says that the situation isn't good at the moment, and he's also surprised by how big Rudy is because, it's been, 6 years since they saw each other.
All right, EliteAri, me and Jarkey Bacon have to confer about how bad Mushoku Tensei is for a second, all right?
All right, go ahead.
So, Jarkey Bacon, in stories when characters meet each other after a long time and they say the situation is bad, when they could just say, we can't find Zenith and Roxy went missing, and that would take 2 seconds. And when Rudy says, we'll tell you how we got here later, when he can just say, we found some teleportation things, Lamau. Why didn't they just say that here, and why'd they drag it out? Why is stories bad, Bacon? This sounds like something you would complain about. Validate me. I didn't notice.
No, I did notice. I was wondering
Oh,
why he
Bacon,
was
you're
keeping
so
the
smart.
information on the teleportation stuff.
Oh, that's obvious because it'll
I
be like
understand-
the teleportation is outlawed,
Yeah,
and they don't want to get the information
Exactly.
get out.
That's what I was. Yeah, I was thinking it needs to be secretive later. It needs to show them, Now
better be a
on
plot
the,
point
on the
later.
Roxy and Zenith thing, I think it's more like they know Zenith is bad, but then to be fair, then Geese didn't seem like that concerned about how Rudy would feel about Roxy going missing, like from Rudy's perspective, because it seems like only Alana actually noticed that Rudy was having a really sad moment there. So yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't split straight away. But then he also doesn't seem like that perturbed. He seems like.
So we could do it in a dramatic scene later.
Well, it's not even that dramatic. It's more just like, hey, it's been a month. We're trying to get in there, but it's yeah, he's very chipper for how dire the situation seems. But maybe that's just how Geese is. I can't really remember how he's characterized before. So sorry, Carl.
And then Paul's really depressed on a desk, bro. It's so relatable.
Wait,
I
okay,
love
so
his
if we're
moves.
moving on, let me just say, I think, you can, I don't know, maybe Kyle has never experienced these moments in real life or anything, but sometimes if something really crazy happens or really
Fuck
bad
off, Larry,
happens,
I'll
then
kill
you
you.
kind of, wouldn't you want everyone who is involved to be in the same place so that you can all explain it at once? So you don't have to keep re-explaining and be
No, I
oh,
feel
what
like
does
that's the
everyone
exact
know? And-
opposite.
No,
This-
because they're on a mission here to save Zenith, right? So when Geese is saying that oh my god, the situation's not good at the moment, let me take you to everyone so we can all sit down and explain it properly. I don't think that's that wild, and I don't think he doesn't want to miscommunicate or
But they're
anything.
only
He wants
explaining
everyone to
it
be
to
there so
these
they can
two,
chime in
right?
if they have to. Wait, what do you mean? They're explaining it to those two, but maybe Geese doesn't understand what everyone else's perspective is, and he doesn't want to just insert it here. He wants to make sure everyone is in one place so that they can all talk about it, right? Isn't that the whole
Especially when we're
purpose of
supposed to be
arriving
rushing
here?
through it.
I,
No, this is retarded.
wait, what do you mean? We're
Obviously,
supposed
you
to be
meet somebody and you run through it in 3 seconds because you can communicate. It's not first of all, we get this
Yeah.
fucking shit through a 10-minute scene that could have been 3 sentences. First of all, and Paul sucks and he's the worst and nobody likes him.
Okay.
Eat shit. Now, the point is, you run into him, you say, fucking Zenith's missing, let's go to the dungeon now. But no, we gotta sleep in something and we gotta prepare for the journey, this is gonna be difficult or whatever.
Wait, this
lame.
is I think you're just no, you must be memeing. I don't know. Okay. Either you're ridiculously
Okay,
dumb and
so
that's one of the
the
dumbest
difficulty
things you've
part
ever
is
said, or
memeing.
I just don't understand. How can you possibly think that? That just doesn't make any sense. You're saying that
Okay,
they
Carl,
they
which
don't
part?
wait, you're saying that right then Geese should have been oh my god, the mother's lost, we need to go to the labyrinth right now, quick rush so we can go and save her. Is that what you're saying?
No, they shouldn't have gone to the labyrinth right now because there's an ice dragon that's going to be really hard to fight, okay?
So what do you suggest that Geese
communicating
does?
the
You're saying
information
that in
should
that
have been
moment,
immediate.
yeah, Geese should be okay, so Rudy, thanks for coming, all right? I know you're a bit bigger, whatever.
He shouldn't have done it.
Zenith
You've grown
is
so
trapped in the
large.
labyrinth. Roxy is lost in the labyrinth. Let's go to Paul and let's talk about it
Yes!
again. Why?
1,000,000%.
Why should he
This
have
is
to do
some-
that?
Because you would just naturally say that immediately. You wouldn't do
But
this
Geese
fucking weird
didn't.
characters reuniting because it's a
You
fake
think
shitty
it's
story.
impossible to have a person who in that situation wouldn't want to do it and would want to save it for later when everyone's there? You think that's impossible?
I think it's retarded so we can have a dramatic scene later to draw this dumb bullshit out.
No, I think you're framing
Because
it
this
as
is what
no.
shitty
I
stories
think
do,
what you're
EliteAri. And
doing is
Mushoku
framing it
Tensei
as a
is a
bad
shit
story. But
story.
what in reality you don't like Geese's character because he chose to save it for later. That's what you're saying. You don't like Geese's character, not
First
the
of all,
story.
Geese was part of the greatest Mushoku Tensei scene of all time, you moron. When him and the dog and Rudius fought the strongest
Okay.
thingy of all time, and
That's
then they
true. Yeah,
captured
the
him
best
or
fight of all
something.
time in all of
But
anime.
Geese is annoying, and I don't like him anymore, actually.
All right.
And what was your point again? Oh, I don't
My
like
point
this
is,
'cause I
it's a
don't like
criticism of
Geese.
Geese's character, not of the
Stupid.
story. But you're criticizing the story. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, because the story created this shitty character to do this shitty EliteAri. The general
that's not what you're saying.
criticism of this whole first part is going to be, shut up, EliteAri.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh my god, I was a little out there, guys. I'm just gonna come down to James part. Anyway, the criticism of this first part is that it's fake fucking characters interacting and it's annoying and the artifice is so obvious, and this is part of it. It's like in Dragon Ball when they would always cut away from telling people other things. It's just like there is a fun character interaction that could have happened here, but instead we chose to do the boring way and to just have it be like milquetoast basic emotion and then no emotion, and then let's talk about this in a second when everybody's in a group so we can do some reaction shots. But the reaction shots aren't even that interesting. The only reaction shot is to the Roxy thing. But even then, and that's kind of cool because they don't know why Rudy would like Roxy because it's tied into his stupid being a pedophile reincarnated shit. But that's the cool part. But the rest of it is just like, I don't know, it feels so like these are like very like plastic characters that ugh.
So I don't understand. You're saying it would have.
bad.
You're saying it would have been more interesting if in that initial scene when they run into Geese, if Geese would have explained the situation there. You're saying that would have been more interesting than reactions
Well,
later.
it would have been more like human,
more
than
realistic,
the, like,
is what you're saying, right?
Shit we get. Not really. Not,
then what is it?
Not necessarily.
More what? More
realistic.
interesting?
No, yeah,
more,
I guess
like
it's realistic.
Okay, realistic.
It's definitely more interesting. It's more realistic. It's more.
So why is it more
human, whatever that
interesting?
means.
Why is it more interesting that he would say it there and not have
Because
all the
this is
reactions
what
from other people?
every story does.
Don't you like build up in the story? Wouldn't you want to build up this release so that we can have
Not
everyone there and have the
bad
reactions
tips
later?
that I don't care about.
All right. You know what, Kyle? I disagree, but that's okay.
Jarkey Bacon agrees with me. You just won't speak up.
Is this
about
true? Is this true, Bacon? Do you agree with him? Yeah.
So, when I have had, I don't know if you guys had any family members or good friends come visit you from a far off distance. Maybe like they've been traveling for a whole day, driving for 2 days straight. Often when they arrive, first thing you do, you let them rest. You don't dump a load of traumatizing stuff on top of them.
True.
And these people have been traveling for 6 whole months. And so logically speaking...
First of all, it's been a month, right?
I think it's been,
it's been 6 months since you sent
yeah.
the letter. But yeah, but they've been traveling a long time, and so you don't want just to trauma dump them and be like, hey, we got to go now. It's like, hang on, we've already been at this for 6 months. Let's like reconvene, recompose, and do this properly the first time. Not like we've got time. I understand, Carl. Like I was thinking the same thing when I was like, hang on, isn't your mum almost dead? And then like, later you're like, oh, Roxy is also like in trouble, and then you're like, well, we didn't know that necessarily then, but it's like, surely this is urgent. But for them, it's like, it's still like, didn't they say it's like a day's walk out? Like, they need to prepare properly for this stuff. So it's
the
not like...
The preparing thing was a meme. They don't actually have to leave now.
Yeah,
and I don't even really care
that,
about the urgency stuff.
No, you're saying
you
that...
just don't like they didn't dump on them straight away. They was being an actual like thoughtful
Like it didn't have to be the first thing out of his mouth, but it's like we'll talk about that later, and also we got here, but I'll explain that later. It's just like, well, we're doing a scene later, guys, so we'll do it then. When it, especially like the we got here using teleportation thing, whisper in his ear because it's a secret, shit could have been done very easily. And it's not too good. Zenith's still trapped. Roxy went missing. Like later they don't even understand that Rudy is like jerking off to Roxy since he was a little baby, and that's why he cares about her. It's like
that's not true.
I don't know. It's just
that's not even true at all. A little bit. Like he cares about Roxy because he helped her out of the house.
Because he helped her go outside.
You're memeing, but that's legitimately there is no sexual element at all in any way. Right? Why would you say that?
They're not gonna fuck in the next episode of EliteAri.
Yeah, but that doesn't change anything about the motivation of him before in the past and why he cares about Roxy at all. That was completely there's no element to that whatsoever.
The cringe thing. Oh, well, we'll get onto it. We'll get onto it.
Yeah,
I think Carl likes the stuff that I didn't like about this episode, and I like the stuff that Carl didn't like about this episode. So.
Oh boy,
and EliteAri just didn't like any of it because he's a hater.
I didn't like the art, okay, but you know what,
guys, we're all getting 5 out of 10.
I think the art was great, chat. I did.
Unbelievable. Now you're just spiting me here. Okay, so. Anything else on
Yeah,
this
go on.
intro? Okay, so
Jeez.
the next part, we've done the arrival bit, which is the part that Kyle said he liked. So now we have the meeting Paul bit, which I'm sure Kyle will love. So Lilia and Shiera are standing near Paul while he's slouched over on his desk.
Oh my god, EliteAri, why
Oh,
didn't
no.
Lilia and Rudy have a moment? Like that's like the actual relationship here that's good. I like Rudy with the llama eyes, they're pretty cool. Rudy and Lilia should be like, oh my god, remember hug? Yes, oh my god. But instead he hugs this moron Paul that sucks. And I guess he
Okay.
doesn't know the dwarf dude, so.
Well, if you want
So
an
I was
actual answer
disappointed
why
that
Lilia
Lilia
doesn't give the moment,
reunited.
the answer would be that clearly Lilia is worried about Paul in this moment and is more concerned about Paul than Rudy arriving. It's probably like,
The guy
okay,
that raped her, EliteAri.
Exactly,
now you're
yeah.
the bad guy in this situation.
hey, I did make a Paul video
I
recently.
was
okay,
thinking, I was
Yeah.
more thinking, it's like, this is anime, so it's rushed. Therefore, we have to only go on like we can skip content like that. So that was my thoughts.
I think
Skip over why their relationship is a thing? What do you say, Bacon?
I think you're saying that it's
skip over like the
faster.
reunion because we've got so many reunions, so it's like, yeah.
I think in the anime,
Well, I
the
think it was
way
slow,
I mean,
so
sorry,
yeah.
in the light novel, you frame this scene of arrival. I think it's through Rudy's perspective, so it's like you're not even like initially when he walks in the room, it's like he sees Paul as like basically a skeleton. He's lost a lot of weight. Like he's completely like he's as bad as he was back in the day when he first met him, but now he's like clean shaven and all that. You kind of see him. You don't even think about Lilia in the scene in the light novel. So I guess it could be an anime thing where it's like because you have to see the whole scene, you kind of get like other characters that are also there, and it's like, oh, why aren't they doing anything? I can understand that, but yeah. All right, Lilia.
That's point number 2 to me.
Paul doesn't look that like skinny. He looks pretty buff in this scene.
Yeah, but if you compare him to the last appearance, I think the line that Rudy gives later on is a very they visually changed Paul to make him look a lot smaller. But we'll get into that. Okay. So Paul is surprised to see Rudy and he thinks he's dreaming. And Paul struggles to get up and he falls over, so he just hugs Rudy on his knees and he says, he basically exactly, it's very dramatic. He says, "Your old man's no good. I can't save your mum. I can't keep my word, and I can't do anything for you. I'm hopeless." Is basically apologetic his whole time, and hopeless and all that. And Rudy, he's glad he came, even if his he's just glad he came basically because Paul is in this state. And then Rudy tells Paul he'll have his own kid, and Paul is surprised and he says he's really grown up and he apologizes for being a hopeless dad. This is basically Paul's just like the apologetic scene of Paul here and seeing how disheveled he is and everything. And Rudy says that, this is the line I was talking about. Rudy remarks that Paul loomed so large when he was a kid, but now he seems so small. And I think they do a very good job of portraying that because the last time we did see Paul is when they were fighting, like literally fighting, like hand to hand, like sword to wand or whatever. And then Paul kind of punched him and he was really looming large there, like physically, and emotionally, like yelling at him and everything. And now he physically looks a lot smaller. He's cleaner shaven and everything. He's like obviously on his knees apologizing to Rudius. And his just personality is much less large and it feels much more reserved and everything. And he is older at this point as well. So yeah, I think they did a very good job. I don't even remember this line about like looming so large in a light novel. So if it is an anime thing, I think the anime did a good job. But yeah.
But
Any
isn't
thoughts?
the cool part is that it means two things. It's like when he was a kid, but because it's also the isekai thing, like Paul is this Giga Chad who was fucking a hot girl and he was dumb Rudius was just some fat otaku dude. So he would have loomed large originally as like the goal of what he would have wished his original life was, and then also it doubles as the kid thing, which was a lot of the double meaning thing at the beginning of the show when it was like Rudy when you're a little kid you are scared of like going outside, and so Roxy is like helping him, so it makes sense in universe, but it also has the double isekai meaning of Rudy is a NEET and he doesn't want to go outside because guys he was bullied, like that's real. But yeah, so it was more of that stuff later, you know. I guess
it's an excellent point, Kyle. Well done.
But Paul still sucks and is boring.
All right.
Hold up. I disagree on the fact that Paul looks bigger. I'm just looking at it now. I don't know. He looks pretty similar to me. Anyway.
Oh, there's no way.
Okay,
I'll tweet out some comparisons later. Go ahead, Bacon.
Okay.
Right.
So I just remember like we entered the scene and Geese is like, Paul's in a bad state. And then I was like, I got in there. I was like, oh man, he must be really bad. And I looked at him and was like, he doesn't look that bad. And then he starts talking. I'm like, he's all right. And then like 1 minute later, he's like, yeah, I'm up, I'm ready to go. And I'm just like, okay, I guess he didn't feel like that bad. To me, didn't feel like he was in that bad of a state.
Wait, I had the exact opposite of like, oh my god, they're making him look so bad. Oh my god, I'm
No,
supposed
I
to
don't.
feel for Paul
No,
right
do they
now, and
literally?
this is
They
supposed to be
literally
really
like
dramatic, but it doesn't work at all. And I'm like, ugh.
they set it up to. They set my expectations like, oh my buddy's gonna be awful. It's gonna be like the most dramatic thing ever, and this is like, not really. Now I will
I
say,
thought they drew him so overly awful that I didn't even buy it. So me and Bacon are attacked in this shit show from
Jesus
like
Christ.
complete opposite directions. It's
I will
great.
say though,
Bacon,
Paul
you're
is
gonna be a 1-2 now, bitch.
so. Carl, what I don't get about you is that Paul is like the least generic character in the show, and you
Oh,
just like him the
Bacon,
most.
stop it. Stop it.
You like Eris, which is like the most generic character in this show.
Yeah, well, that's not for her
Red-haired
depth. It's
tsundere,
just 'cause she's the
unbelievable. Never
archetype
seen
I
that one
like.
before. And Paul's like,
Well,
okay,
EliteAri
we're
tried to
actually
tell me
going
she
to.
wasn't that, by the way.
Wait, wasn't what?
Well,
Wasn't
How-
a tsundere with red hair. He's like, what's a tsundere, Kyle?
Mhm.
yeah.
We had that argument
Crazy.
2 years ago. Bacon agrees with
Twice.
me, EliteAri.
Never watched Evangelion in his life. Anyway,
He hated it when I brought up Oscar all the time.
and then the thing is, right, like the cool thing about Mushoku Tensei is that like the parents are actually kind of quite involved and actually human, because it's not that common in anime that you actually get to see parent characters like, and there's like a really interesting and fun dynamic about how Mushoku treats like Paul being a parent to Rudy and back and forth there. Like, and
The cool
that's
part is that
not
he's like
generic
an
at all.
idiot. But like, I feel like it is generic. Like every time Paul says, your old man is like this, I'm like, this is like the least fatherly behavior I've ever seen. Like, this is so annoying and plastic and fake. So I was like,
yeah, that's like almost the point, because Paul doesn't know how to be a good
no,
dad.
but not in an interesting, like, this is an interesting person type way. Like in a
He puts on a veneer of like knowing what being a dad looks like, but actually doesn't know how to be that good of a dad.
but he kind of is a good dad to the girls, right? So he's kind of learned how to be a good dad.
Yeah, but he's relating to Rudy different because he's a guy, right?
Yeah, but that's just the funny Lamau sex stuff that Mushoku Tensei does all the time, which is cool. That's like the one non-generic thing about it, you know. This is also a 2-year-old argument. But
I would also say the sex stuff is, well, it depends. Depends. The Roxy stuff was also, yeah, it did some annoying anime tropes which I don't like. But anyway,
wait, the Roxy
but-
stuff in this episode or in general?
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, in this episode, yeah.
No, Roxy's cool. I like Roxy.
And anyway, yeah. So like, no, I just think it's like quite genuine, and it's like, I mean, what other like interesting father characters are there where there's actually like an interesting relationship between the, I guess Hohenheim and Edward Elric is pretty cool.
No, well, that one's not interesting. No, that one actually is kind of interesting. I was gonna
That
shit
one
on your
is-
favorite series for the meme bacon, but I guess I like that one.
No, it's good.
What
it's
other
good.
dads do we got? Shinji and his dad. No, that's just like we're mean to each other, Lamau. But then they're the same guy at the end. Crazy.
Crazy.
Um,
I mean, Vinland Side's got a lot of dad stuff in there, but I mean,
yeah, but Thor's is more of an idea than a character. Jarkey Bacon. You ever heard that one before?
yeah, I have heard that one before. Come on, Ari, help us
Askeladd's the
out here.
greatest dad.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even think of any.
All right, I'm trying
dads.
to back up your favorite series here by saying this is like the.
Oh no, this is a
Paul is
lost
one-
cause. There's no way you can convince Kyle Paul is character. He has never liked Paul from the beginning, and no matter how much
Have
I've
you not
tried
even
to argue
watched any
for
of
it,
Ari's videos?
I think you've seen the Paul argument video, but there's no way you can convince Kyle
I
the
saw that
Paul.
one.
I think it's not like a Paul.
I hate.
I think you just don't find him interesting as a character. Like the conceit of him of like a failed dad who is not very good at being a dad at all and is trying to be a
I
good
like
dad.
that one scene you point out in your video about how it's like Lamau Paul's a moron and Rudy has to like manipulate him into like. But Rudy had to do that a lot at the beginning, where he'd manipulate his family into being good by the Lilia situation when they're cheating and stuff. Which is brought up in this episode. Oh my god.
Mhm.
But yeah, so
Alright.
that stuff was okay, but you know. No character in Mushoku Tensei has a personality besides Eris. Let's not get ridiculous here.
What about Rudy?
No.
He doesn't have a personality? Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, at the end of this scene, Paul confronts EliteAri and apologizes. And then EliteAri says that she is partly to blame, and the two of them shake hands and make up.
Oh
Crazy.
my god, this
Happened
is
so
also the most
quickly.
generic thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life, too. I guess this one might have been a victim of going quick, I guess.
No, not
I
at
don't know,
all.
they fight a
This
little bit
was
later.
basically as
And we
quick as
also
it
don't
was.
get the details.
This is as quick as it was in the light novel. It's like immediately they apologize,
No
and that's like
excuses for
that's
being
meant to be
bitter.
the subversion, where it's like, oh my god, I can't believe they just resolved this so quickly.
But that's how it was always going to happen. That's how it does. That's not the subversion. That's the generic thing.
All right, I guess we'll go back. Did you
No,
predict this at some point in the season? I
Carl,
don't remember.
No,
I feel
Carl,
like I almost certainly did.
Oh, perfect. We'll
Carl,
get the
you
clip.
then
Someone
complain
can...
it's too overly dramatic if they did actually have like a falling out over it. Like, no, I can't work.
Well, they're
Yeah, it's
never
a-
going to have an actual fight over it. But
No, and then Carl would be like,
It
"Oh
would-
my word,
you
it's
definitely
so
would.
dramatic,
You'd be like, "This is the
guys.
most
Oh, I hate
generic
it so
scene
much."
I've seen. The two people who they're all
well,
arguing and being passionate."
genericism, isn't just always the actions, but how it happens.
So it was a lost cause, right? At this
Like,
point,
they
there's
could've
no way
forgiven
they
each
could
other.
save
Like,
it.
if they started making out EliteAri, I would have flipped my shit and said this was the greatest scene of all time. But
Yeah.
instead, it's just like, Paul sure has grown. He just cares so much about this Zenith. Kill yourself, EliteAri.
So
Kill yourself.
Carl doesn't actually care about if things are generic or not because he likes Eris and doesn't like
Generic
people that are not
means
We
generic.
had
when
this
I see
argument.
it, I think I've seen it before. Now, Eris is epic, and also I never said Eris was cool because she wasn't generic. So I'm flipping you off right now, Bacon. And also, I like Roxy now, by the way.
All right. All right. Well, we
I
met
think
Paul.
it is
Cool
because
episode.
she's peed, by the way. But we'll get to that later.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That is another like anime trope that is just like, okay, cool, I guess.
Mm.
Girls never pee themselves.
It's all the time in anime. It's like, Jesus,
I
like,
don't
too
know.
much.
All right. Now we've met Paul. The next
What's
thing is
generic
catching
for
up.
thee
Okay.
is not generic for me.
So this is what Kyle was looking forward to when they exchange information and they find out that what's happening in this place. So according to Geese's intel, Zenith is caught in a labyrinth, 1 day's journey north, but they don't know much more than that.
On the 6th something EliteAri, I remember.
The sixth stratum or stratum. It's like the sixth level of depth in the labyrinth, basically. Now,
Yeah, because strata has something to do with rocks and stuff, or the layers of the earth or something. I remember that
Oh, wow.
from science class.
oh, I had no idea. I guess this is where I point out that
EliteAri's a scientist, everybody.
there is a very interesting divergency. I don't know what's exactly going on here. So basically, in this anime episode and in the original Japanese,
Don't worry, I'll tell you.
the original Japanese, like no translation, like whatever, published online web novel, Geese says that there was someone who looked like Zenith who was in a party that went missing a few years back. So the implication is that Zenith was like a party member who got trapped in this labyrinth. That's basically what he says in this episode and
This
the web
is
novel.
super cool, EliteAri.
Yeah, however, in the English translation of the light novel, which is the one I've read, and I was so confused as to why the anime changed it. Apparently they didn't, because the original Japanese says the same thing. They say that a few years back...
I can't trust dubs.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess, but this is an official sanctioned translation for the English audience. Geese said that there was a party a few years back that went into the labyrinth and saw someone who looked like Zenith. So it's like a big difference there. Like, was she in a party who like went in and
No.
got trapped there, or was she like literally a party went in and saw her trapped there? Like, it was a bit of a difference, which I was interested in. How can that happen? But I don't know
Your
what to go
version
with.
sucks, EliteAri.
What do you?
This
Why would it?
version's
What's the
way
difference? I mean, why is one cooler? You think?
Because that means she, like, after she got zapped, she wasn't just captured immediately doing nothing. She was going on adventures. She found a new party. She had she was doing something. She was probably thinking about how to get back to her family, but she had a journey just like Rudius. When all we think about Zenith is that she's just a dumb mum because she hasn't gotten any characterization yet. That much, unlike this idiot Paul we're focusing on. And obviously Zenith is cooler because she's hot. and she's a
Okay,
girl.
okay.
So,
Continue.
oh my
Yeah.
god, I can just think about what Zenith was doing. She's got new friends. I wonder what her friends are like. They're probably dead now. I can't wait to get the flashback when we save her. But
Mhm.
EliteAri not knowing the difference means that Zenith's gonna die, Bacon, or I don't know why she wouldn't explain this later, or maybe the anime is gonna add in a bonus filler episode, like when Eris became a goblin slayer with Zenith and her old party or something. Because apparently it's not
That would
fleshed
be
out
pretty
because
cool.
EliteAri didn't know about it.
Well,
Spoiler
I am curious. What do you? Well, how can I phrase this? I guess there's a lot of ambiguity in what
Guardian.
Geese is saying here, where he's like he's uncertain. He's getting this intel. You don't really know what's happening. It's like people have seen someone who looks like Zenith. Like, what do you think? Like, what do you think of all this? Do you think that actually Zenith is in there and we're gonna find her?
Zenith
Like,
is obviously in there because now that would be a
POP.
cool subversion if it turns out it's not her or something in there, but that's not going to happen because Mushoku Tensei is not cool. So she's in there. Plus, she was in the opening. and
Dude,
there's a
I
cool
want
abstract.
I want that Mushoku Tensei to do that now. Clip this now. Come back in 9 episodes where Carl's wrong. Good grief, that'd be the greatest time of my life.
I said it would be cool already, so you can't even
No,
throw
no,
it in
no,
my
no,
face.
no, no.
You said
Because
it was
you'll be
obvious.
talking about how you don't like it's cool. It's obvious, and Mushoku Tensei's got to do it because that's what Mushoku Tensei is.
Wait, so what are we betting on here? If it's not Zenith?
Yeah, and it's someone else. To be fair, I also think it's Zenith because
I'm
it's like in the
I'm pretty
MP, and
confident
I'm just like that you can always trust the OP to spoil you, unless it's Jujutsu Kaisen because the goat.
Or Zenith is a spirit that is like a sexy spirit because she's hot and stuff, and that's why she satiated Paul, you know, this evil, corrupt, sex offender, horny bastard.
So
and so there's
Kyle,
multiple
are you
copies
just
of
mad
Zenith everywhere.
that you're not Paul? I think that's what I'm getting here.
Every day, Bacon. Every
Jesus.
day. Like, Paul sucks.
Yeah, you're annoyed at Paul because he's more alpha than you, and you're the incel in this situation.
I'm mad at Rudius because he's gonna get to have sex with Roxy now, and she's my favorite now, Bacon. Paul's not gonna have sex with Roxy.
So, Carl, you've done this wrong. You're not pushing the isekai. The isekai is meant to be you think you are Rudius, not that you are competing with Rudius, right?
But I don't want to be like Rudius.
Well, actually, that's fair play. Well done, Mushoku Tensei. You sold us on not being like Rudius.
That's subversive, right, Bacon? If that's what it's supposed to be, but it's not.
Yeah, well, it is. Well, we're meant to like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying you want to be like Prologue Thorfinn.
Oh my god.
Prologue Thorfinn. Oh, that's so cool. I do want to be like Prologue
Yeah,
Thorfinn.
you can do like flips and stuff.
He had the best
Oh my
attitude.
God.
Thorfinn was like so cool back then. He had great one-liners. He told Canute to suck his dick or something and then flipped him off.
That is
It
a
was
Kyle
fucking
thing to
sick,
say.
bro.
Yeah.
He was always so mean. Oh, I loved Prologue Thorfinn. Easily the most entertaining Thorfinn. Later, he gets a little smarty, you know. That's a little interesting too, but I'll take the one-liners any day. I love Black Lagoon.
I love Black Lagoon too.
True. What a show. All right, well, this...
I'm so sorry for everybody that has to listen to this.
Shut up,
How are people still watching this?
They love it. That's all there was. I don't know why I said first of all.
So Geese
let me
says...
see.
Oh boy. What are you checking,
Go,
Bacon?
all right, go. All right,
Okay.
I'm just checking all of the stats.
They don't know how long Zenith has been there, but it's been 6 years since the teleportation incident. They also don't know if she's in danger, so they basically don't know anything except someone saw her.
Bro, she was traveling around for 3 years. That's so cool, EliteAri. Why are we talking about this? Go on, continue.
Yep. All right. What other exchanging intel? It's a dangerous labyrinth, and even after a year, they haven't made it halfway. And then Talhand arrives with Vieira, and he meets Rudius, and he looks at his butt. So crazy.
Oh yeah, I
what?
did. I noticed that. I was like, oh,
there was a
thank you
butt
so much.
shot. I do.
I was like,
this.
it's like, is this a Hisoka moment?
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, is that why Elana is never fucking the dwarf because the dwarf is gay, Bacon? Do you think Mushoku Tensei has the balls to have a gay character? Probably not. EliteAri just laughed. So I guess that cool opportunity's out the window. Also, we didn't talk about how we still don't really know what happened with Paul and Elana. I don't know if they were like dating or something, because you know how Elana has to fuck a lot to be like satiated. I don't know if we're doing the meme that Paul just wants to fuck so much, just like Rudius, that they could satiate Elana. That would be pretty. And then he was like, "Oh, there's a new girl and she's pretty, and I want her instead." I think that's kind of the implication, but we'll see. Or maybe it's something entirely different. Like he was supposed to. There was another girl that just died or something that Paul was dating, and now he just moved on with Zena. I don't know. I can write these fucking shits, but we still don't know. So I don't know if there's gonna be some sort of reveal in that was gonna shock us, Bacon.
Well, I was just take it back to what's his name? Tanric. Sorry, what's his name?
Talahan.
Talahan, which is a pretty cool name. Kind of close to Taliban.
Thanks, Bacon.
So he, so I was a bit uncomfortable. It's like, hang on, Rudius is still a kid. But then they made such a big effort to be like, no, he's a man now. So I'm like, okay, that's all right. But that.
Wait, so do we think the shot was actually that he was looking at his ass, or just, I don't remember the shot?
Dude, it is like, it is so like out of left field. I'm just like, why are we looking at like I've never seen. Yeah. Anyway. First male sexualization in Mushoku Tensei. We love to see it.
All right. Well, what was I up to? Talhand. Before... Oh yeah, so Rudy asks where Roxy is, and everyone looks distraught, and it turns out that a month ago, Roxy fell into a trap in the labyrinth and has gone missing. And Paul hasn't lost hope, but Geese thinks she's dead, and Talhand says she's an exceptional mage, so there's a chance she could still be alive. And then this is where we get like before Paul says that she's missing. Rudy is like he asks if she's dead and has an internal monologue about how he actually doesn't want to know, and he freaks out and everything goes muffled, and we zoom out, and then EliteAri snaps him out of it. So
Cool shot.
You like this? Yeah, I liked it too.
Okay, I was trying to figure out, is this what Ari hates? Like he's so much cooler in the light novel that they could have done cooler stuff with it, and that's like he's almost disappointed by like how like missed potential that I'm not getting here, because I actually didn't really realize. I didn't really think it was like that much worse than everything else.
No, this Roxy thing, the way they handled it is, I don't like, this is a very anime only thing. You could only really do this kind of thing in an anime, so I thought they did it very well. Just the muffled audio, the zooming out, it looked really good. I liked it.
Cool. I think the Roxy stuff here hits on another interesting thing that I remember saying. It wasn't 2 years ago, Leary. It was like 9 months ago, huh? Whenever we were doing our first ones, because there's a moment I think in the first Paul interaction where he's like, "Why are you like prioritizing Eris's safety over like looking for your family or something?" And I think me and Ari got in an argument because I was like, "Yeah, obviously Rudius, because he's an isekai guy, is gonna care about the girls he likes more than his stupid fake family." And then I think we got in a big argument because I called him this stupid fake family. But I feel like this is again being hit on here, where it's like he cares more about Roxy being in danger. I guess you can play it off as like, oh well, he already knew Zenith was in danger. And now he's just finding out about Roxy. But when he found out Zenith was in danger, I don't think he had this type of reaction. And I think it is like fair, but I don't know. I don't remember what you actually said about this argument, EliteAri. Do you think he cares more about his girls than his fake family? Or does he just love them all?
I think that this was an entire plot point back when they first ran into Paul, which is that, yeah, like you said, he wasn't caring about Zenith and he was caring more about Sylphie. Now, I think
Right?
No, Sylphie, because Sylphie got teleported. He asked where Sylphie was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would say that Rudy, I don't want to say too much. I don't know. When it comes to family, yeah, there is an interesting dynamic with Rudy, and when it comes to, does he actually see his parents as his parents, and like, or does he see these people as his family? Like, how long has he even known Zenith for? Like, it was like, what, 5 years in his early days, and then he never saw her again. Like, it is interesting of a question. I just don't want to, I don't know, there's not too much to say at this point. Yeah, I don't know.
I think you're right, though. I think like he does care about, but then I also like it makes sense.
Yeah, because now he does care about his family, right? Because he like his little sisters, but it's another thing where it's like, where does the isekai stuff break it? And I'm not even criticizing it yet, Leary. Calm down. We'll get to that later. Like, where does it break? Because he's already a person. So when you like grow up around your parents, a lot of your bonding with them probably comes from like relying on them and them like being a symbol of keeping you safe and like helping you grow or whatever. When a lot of that was the Roxy stuff, where him going outside and stuff. He never really had moments with Paul and Zenith like that. Well, yeah, and also, obviously, there's a very break. Like, you're not trying to fuck your mother and grab onto her titties when you're a little baby, like you are when you're actually a 38-year-old in a baby's body type thing. So obviously, all these little things have to change the dynamic pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
But I think they're getting to a point where it's like, where he does care about his family, and some of it is mapped onto the parental things, kind of, which I think is fine. There was another thing that just jogged in my memory, and I started about 1 sentence ago. That was another old thing me and Ari used to talk about.
Oh boy.
Parents, Paul, Zenith. Bacon, say what you got to say while I remember.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense that he would care more about Roxy than his family, because Roxy helps him with something that was pivotal to him in his old life, which is like his baggage carrying over, right? That's quite a salient moment for him. And so it's almost like when you are a kid, I mean, even like with his mental age, like whatever it is, 5 years is pretty fast. And even as a kid, if you only spend 5 years with your parents, then move off somewhere else and get raised by someone else, and then you're like 16, right? Like your formative years are like from when you're like 5 to 12, right? So like his formative years were without his parents and family, so it makes sense he cares more about. But then it's weird that he would care more about Sylphie than his parents, than his mum in that situation, because Sylphie didn't do much for him, I think, early on. Now it would make more sense. But at the time,
She was the girl that he wanted to groom. That's pretty important.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right.
there's something to be
think-
said there, but
I
I
think
do feel like that
one-
also mirrors like growing up generally, right? You generally like, if you ask most, I guess maybe not. Maybe I just have a very specific relationship with my parents, where you sort of like, if you ask the average person, do they care about their partner more or their parents more? I guess some people probably do say their parents, so I guess that's probably not true. But I'd say fuck the parents.
Well,
and that's
I
sort
think
of a reflection.
I think
here,
it depends. It depends on who. If I would say it's probably more typical for people care about their partners more because that's the person they choose, right?
Yeah, that's kind
And
of.
that's the person they rely on, like because your parents should theoretically have each other. Now, if like say you want to go one parent for whatever reason, and as
Yeah, that is true.
you'll be
It
noticed.
does seem like single parent thingies, like they generally have like if it's one kid and one parent, they generally have a very close relationship. But obviously that's from the outside looking in. I don't actually know. But
yeah, I think it's also when it depends on who needs you at the moment, right? Like, so eventually your parents are going to need you because they're going to get old and they're going to, need more assistance, right? Kind of like how you need assistance when you were younger, and then you need to have your partner to rely upon to help you with them, or that they can help do whatever they need to do themselves. That like you need to care for your parents more because they're in more urgent need, right? So.
yeah, I think in real life, and I don't think this has anything to do with Mushoku Tensei, but whatever. I think it ties into. I think about loss generally, and I think the sometimes the amount of like somebody even dying will affect you is how much your like daily life is affected by it. So like when you're like a kid and you're like 14 and you're like, what if my fucking parents died, bro? That would be like the worst thing to ever happen because like your whole life dynamic would change. But if you're like 40 and your parents die, obviously it's still one of the most devastating things that probably happens to like a general person. But I didn't hear what Bacon said. I think it was a funny joke, but I'll ask him when I'm finished. The like generally it's not going to affect your life as much. So it's like it's not as life devastating. So I'm trying to tie this into it actually just being a selfish action. So Lamau and people are selfish. Madman taught me to be like this, guys. Anyway, what did you say, Bacon?
I was just joking about how much money I would get.
True.
You get your parents' house.
Yes. They don't even have a mortgage, Bacon. I'm gonna be rich. Should I kill them tonight?
Crazy. Jeez. Well,
property prices going through the roof for EliteAri. Not quite as much
like
as
patricide and matricide. Like
yes.
Well, Rudy would get nothing because
like all the
teleportation
sides.
incident took everything from his family. They have no wealth, no house, no property, nothing. What a shame.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't they just go back to the house?
the house is destroyed, Bacon.
Oh, I forgot about that
From
part.
the teleportation incident. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
silly Bacon.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So it's almost like it's been 2 years since I did a Mushoku Tensei.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, EliteAri, are you gonna ask Bacon a question that doesn't move the conversation forward for the next 90 seconds while I pee?
All right, Bacon. I guess I would say, just about this Roxy point, another element completely devoid of Rudius's perspective here is, I think the interesting, which Kai would love if I say this, the descriptive realism of Rudy saying he doesn't want to know. He'd prefer if he didn't ask, like he never asked the question. Because then if he never asked the question of if Roxy is dead, then he never has to know. And maybe he can just live his life without ever really knowing if she's dead or not, if he never asks if she's dead, you know?
I'll give you an example from real life today for me. I was downstairs talking to my flatmates, hanging out, having a good time before this. I came up here, I left my phone in my room, I had a look at my phone, and I had a text from another mate who I don't know that well, but they were inviting me to a barbecue. Right, I think I mentioned this earlier, and I was like, I like the world where I didn't know I had to make this social decision or not.
Yeah.
So there you go. I wish I just didn't know.
Yeah, fantastic. Just like
yeah,
Rudius. So
pretty
you can
much it.
relate to Rudius is what you're saying. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know what else to fill this time with.
Well, I hope everybody is enjoying. I did watch some of the videos, and Carl was being absolutely. Yeah, some of his points are awful.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Not be making fun of me in here.
I'll be making even worse points later on. Don't worry.
Oh boy. Okay, we'll get
Just
there.
wait till you get on the Roxy point.
All right.
I may even
What
have to
do
make a
you
video
make
about
fun
it.
of?
Just how
EliteAri,
bad your
what's he
points are,
shitting on?
But before you left, kind of
Ari,
talking
how
about
many views do you
descriptive
have on,
realism.
on your pool light novels?
Oh,
Is
like
there
11,
that
12K.
many light novels? That's crazy.
Oh wait, you mean the
So
popular
even
one? Because
with
that
light
is a lot.
novel.
But yeah.
No. The
You
most
better
recent
not be
one's
making fun of my viewership now.
well, your viewership is pretty bad, but I'm not gonna act like mine's great either.
Oof.
I'm like
Griffith video nearly at 900,000. You know.
True.
crazy.
Wait, Bacon, how much does that one viral video you have got?
Not that much. Probably 500K.
Oh, I thought it was more. I thought it was like 1.6 million for some reason.
No. Dude.
Yeah,
no,
so keep
400K.
your mouth
400K.
shut, boys.
All right,
You know?
so-
Dude,
I just flexed.
Dude,
That
if
was
I got
good.
11K right now, it would be my fifth most viewed video of all time. That'd be crazy.
Well, just make
None of my
Mushoku Tensei
Vinland Saga
video.
videos have a 10K on them.
And actually, it's at 12.
I
My
heard
large-
Bacon's factoring in.
My
Fuck
largest
12K.
my largest Vinland Saga videos are actually on Carl's channel.
Classic.
Well, I was gonna say, I hope you're counting those, and also Goodbye Attack on Titan, the great 10K viewed video.
That's
Bacon's
crazy.
best work.
Yeah, I'm not getting that many views on anything.
All
Actually,
right.
maybe do my Hill video go that many? Sorry.
So Paul.
That's
Sorry,
a good
just-
video.
Go.
Paul
Let's talk about
explains.
heal.
Oh my goodness. Paul explained. Wait, well, how many
You're
views
supposed
did
to
he have?
power
Bacon,
through
go
when I
ahead.
say things, EliteAri.
I want to know the views now. I'm on the edge of my seat. Go ahead, Bacon.
Yeah, no, I'm 16K on the Hill one.
All right, nice. Okay.
Please God.
It's more than the Paul one, but I guess it's only been 7 days, but we'll see. Paul Paul explains more about the labyrinth. So it's an S-ranked labyrinth called the Teleporter Labyrinth. I don't know if you guys remember this or even knew this at any point at all, but did you know that like Paul, Eliteari, Talahand, Geese, like all these people, they were all in a party at one point, which was S-ranked, like an S-ranked adventurer party. Did you guys remember that at all?
Well, I assume they were pretty cool, but I didn't know Geese was in the party.
I didn't know there
Yep.
were
I thought it was just the
exactly
four of them.
S ranks, but
All right. Well, yep, it was S-ranked. It was like
Cool.
Fangs
Wait,
of the
was
Black Wolf
Geese
or
in
something.
was Geese always in the party? Did they say
Yep.
that last time we saw him?
Last time we saw him, he talked about being a cook or something, and then his party members like ruined it because there was a fight and the party broke up or something. There was a lot of stuff about that back in season 1. Maybe it wasn't in the anime, maybe it was just light novel. I don't remember, but I at least brought it up in our discussions at some point. Yeah, crazy.
I swear, for whatever reason, I thought it was just 4 people, and Geese.
Well,
just
and
knew
Zenith
them.
as well,
But
so
I
it'd
guess
be like 5-6 people. And
That's
Ghislaine,
fine,
actually, and
right?
Ghislaine from the Beast Lady from season 1. She was also in the party.
See, I also thought she just kind of knew him. So
Yep.
yeah, where's
I guess
Glenn?
that's-
Well, last time we saw her,
She's
she was with
Eris.
Eris. Yeah, she left to. I don't know if
They
they said
left.
where.
Should
Yeah,
we be following them around?
it's okay.
I'm sure Carl would like
Ta-da!
that.
Hey, don't leave any
No,
comments,
that's
guys.
next
All right.
core, EliteAri. We get one core with Sylphie, this core with Roxy, and then the next one will be the Eris one. It's okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so S-rank labyrinth. And we've said by quite the coincidence, Rudy has a book by an adventurer who made it into the depths of the labyrinth, and Geese quickly read through it and says it's perfect. What a coincidence! Isn't that quite the coincidence? Okay, anyway,
Well,
that's all we'll say about
it
that.
didn't- to be fair, it was given to him and said this will be useful probably.
All right, how about
it's
this? I'll give a little bit of a why I don't think it's that crazy, but so Rudy, I don't know how much you guys remember though early in this season, but
Probably not.
he went.
I remember everything.
Oh, I don't even know what I can say. Like, so he went to the university, and
And
in
then-
his spare time, he was looking up teleportation stuff.
yeah,
And this is
true.
one of the books he would have seen when he was looking up teleportation stuff. And I don't know, like, why was he looking up teleportation stuff? I don't know. It's who knows? Maybe there's some details.
EliteAri,
back there.
don't even bother defending this. Jarkey Bacon's just stupid. I don't give a fuck if he quickly ran out of the library and grabbed 2 random books, and they
All
both
right, all
happen
right.
to be about this exact labyrinth.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck.
All right,
He
let's
does
keep
Man,
going.
God
Let's-
did it,
He
Bacon. He
does
wants
really-
to succeed.
He does really care that Geese didn't tell him straight away.
He does.
True. That's got nothing to do with coincidences.
Oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Kyle's he's a nice, consistent person. It's
Did you
great.
like that whataboutism I just got attacked with, chat? Unbelievable.
I'm
Okay.
full of those.
Well, guys, we're at the end of
Channel
that
4
scene.
news, here we come.
we're moving on to
Jeez.
the best scene in this episode.
Imagine if EliteAri just said, and we're at the end of the discussion, he was so mad.
And that's
basically
it.
just
Yep,
ended
we're
it.
done.
Kicked
No
us
more.
out.
All the ones going
That would
forward,
be
just
funny.
me. It'd be so great. All right. Okay.
The chat rejoices.
Now this is obviously the best scene in the anime because they actually decided to show it. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, are they going to waste time on this nonsense scene that the anime would probably usually cut out? But no, they put it in here, which is the bedroom talk with Paul and Lilia. It was cute. They're catching up after a very long time. You know, Paul's making some funny jabs at Rudy, and it's great. So the actual recap is, so Lilia is asking about Aisha, and Rudy says that she's doing well. She does all the chores, and they'd be lost without her, but he'd probably feel a bit more comfortable if she acted more selfish. And then we get the cutest thing, which is Paul laughing at the fact that he's seeing little Rudy all grown up and chatting with Lilia, which is just going to be a funny thing from Paul's perspective, which I like a lot.
That's pretty relatable.
Why is he doing-
Yeah.
Why was he doing the let's fuck pose while he was doing this, though? It's very weird.
That's a very, I
And,
think that's a very relatable, cute pose where it's like a family member is just lounging on a couch, like just watching. I think that's a very, at least in my life, I've seen
But his
family members do.
cock's out, EliteAri. He's pointing
It's
it
not like
at
his,
him.
that's not true at all.
How have you never done that?
And his
Like,
kid's in the room.
yeah, I've done that all the time.
Yeah, it's just the most relatable thing
In my
ever.
The
family.
next words out of his mouth were going to be, "Come here, baby."
I mean, if he was naked, I
Pose for
guess.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. He was just clothed.
No.
And also, it's Paul. If he did say that, I wouldn't be.
At some
too...
point, you got clothes on, EliteAri.
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
Just
for sure.
relaxing.
Funny,
He's just
EliteAri, not a
relaxing.
big deal.
I can't tell what's a
It's
big
the
deal or
king-
Are
not.
they
You know?
currently
Down
sleeping together? Hold on, I want my question
So
answered.
this was something that was probably this. Actually, I think this was cut out so far, and it was a big thing. I talked about it in my video and stuff, but I guess I didn't mention it that much. But Paul has basically, ever since, I know we even point this out in season 1, Paul basically has had a vow of like he's gonna not sleep with anyone until he saves Zenith. However, during this mission, he did sleep with Lilia once, and he like hates himself for it. But in reality, it was because he got attacked by a succubus, like Rudy did, and Lilia basically sacrificed herself, you know, and had sex with Paul so that he would be healed, because he was very dangerous, obviously. Like he's an S-rank adventurer, probably the strongest of their party. And he was wanting to have sex with any woman that was around, but it was dangerous. And yeah, it was kind of, they cut that out, which is a bit sad. I think it adds to Paul's kind of feeling of as a failure himself, because he's like, he wanted to keep this vow. He was really good at keeping the vow. And then he kind of, even though it was out of his hands and it was just, he got cursed and he had to do it, it's like, he still feels bad about it. But none of that's in the anime.
But he does joke about how Lilia came onto him one time, which was the original cheating scandal in this.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But is he actually referring to the succubus?
No. He's talking
No,
about when they were
because-
kids, and I think that one time
Yeah,
where
okay.
Lilia like
Oh,
cheated on.
Yeah.
Well, not cheated, but
See, that was a terrific descriptively real thing. God, the first 4 episodes of Mushoku Tensei were the best. When Roxy was masturbating to them fucking, and Lilia was decided she was gonna fuck him after hearing him fucking all the time. That was great. Those were great days, you know.
excellent. If you want to revisit
Wait,
those
so
great
Paul
days, you can read
originally
the light
wrote
novel,
Lilia.
Kyle. Oh no! Wait, what? Say that again.
Yes, everything about the light novel's way better, EliteAri. I already admitted this many times. Even that stupid, this dumb Paul scene where he's dramatically falling over and it's like the most overdramatic bullshit. When you described it in the light novel and you were like, oh, well, actually, Rudy just had eyes for Paul and it's written from his perspective. I was like, oh my god, written stuff is so cool. We should all be reading it. And I
can do this
remember all those
afterwards,
last
Kyle.
times I did that. Now I forgot, what did Jarkey Bacon just say?
We can do this afterwards.
Yeah,
Honestly-
it's a lot of effort, EliteAri. I mean, Jarkey Bacon. Now, I was building up to a point. I've completely forgotten,
Oh, no.
EliteAri. What did I start this off as?
He was doing the King DDD's
Oh, they all wanted to
crouch.
fuck, right? Why would you
Huh?
say, Bacon?
He's doing King DDD's crouch in Super Smash Brothers. Greatest crouch
I
animation
don't
of
even.
all
I
time.
don't even know the reference, but
You're a big Smash fan, EliteAri. You get the
I'm not.
reference.
No.
What was I saying, EliteAri? Was I saying a genius point?
You said initially descriptive realism of the history, but then you said something new about I
With all
don't
the
know,
sex
Lilia.
stuff, yes.
I don't know.
Lilia. Oh, and then I wanted to know if because Lilia got raped
the
by
rape.
Paul, remember, in the olden days?
Yeah.
And it was when Paul was training or something, right? So why
Yep.
can't Lilia fight, was my question, basically.
Well, Lilia used to be
Like, what was
a.
Lilia's job at that place?
Lilia was a guard for the royal princess back in the day. I think this is way after she met Paul and was training and everything. And then she got
So why
poisoned
is
in
she
an
with them?
assassination attempt, and then she basically
Oh.
left. So yeah, that's like Lilia. There's a lot of Lilia history, and I think we also get Lilia perspective chapters in the first volume, which is interesting, and in the later volumes as well, actually. But yeah, Lilia's
Oh my
great.
god, she's gonna survive.
Yeah, we get it. We do get a
Anyway,
lot more details in their backstory in the light novel. Like we get it from Paul's perspective, and we get it from Lilia's perspective on how traumatized she was by the rape and everything. And
yeah.
I
feel like this should be way cooler. Like, I feel like, the light novel just makes everything sound like. I get on this more with like the Roxy thing. But
okay, wait, get into it. I can't wait to just keep making hate on the show. It's gonna be great. Okay, so,
what? So what isn't she going with him?
Wait, who? Where? What?
Lilia isn't with them in the dungeon. She says goodbye to them like a little damsel girl that can't fight.
Well, she doesn't fight anymore. She's been a maid for the overwhelming majority of her fight, and they're like S-rank adventurers, and this is an incredibly dangerous labyrinth. She would be like an average kind of person at this point. She's nowhere near
Geese
like
pretty weak.
Geese in terms of fighting is weak, but in terms of like navigating a labyrinth and skill, just general like life skills, he is like essential. He might be like the most important member in their party.
On the road back to the house EliteAri and they get ambushed by creatures, Lilia will be fighting then, right?
Perhaps. You know, she could fight to defend herself or people she likes, but yeah, she is not a fighter at this point, and nowhere near the level of the S-ranked members of the Fangs of the Black Wolf or whatever. Yeah, I heard
Wait, is that their old party name?
Yeah, Fangs of the Black Wolf, I think. I don't know what it means, okay? There is like a whole gag in the light novel about how the names of this world are very like cringy and stuff, and Rudy points it out, and it's like, it's just like a thing in this world, a facet of it.
God, self-awareness about being corny. I love this light novel.
Yep. So, so yeah, laughing at the fact
By
that...
the way, I want to point out to the audience, and I want to say they're all losers, because they don't have this excuse, because most of them didn't read the light novel, and they actually just like this anime. EliteAri gets a pass, because he read the light novel, and now he's suing out because of all the fan service, because he gets to see the things he imagined in his head on screen, and he tricks himself into thinking it's actually good. You idiots got no excuse for liking this trash. Anyway, light novel good. You bad, audience.
Amen.
Continue.
That's true. But I love you, audience. Keep leaving comments. We love you. But I guess the ones who leave comments are all light novel readers anyway, so they're not offended right now. So
they have an excuse to.
Yep. Little Rudy, all grown up, chatting with Lilia, the cutest thing in this episode. I like that. And then Paul asks about Rudy having a kid, and Rudy tells him that he got married, and Paul's like, oh, who was it? To Eris? And Rudy's like, no, it was Sylphie.
Oh my god, they did it again.
Yeah, another Eris mention. Another person who thought he'd marry Eris, true. Then Lilia, basically, yeah, this was an interesting reaction to from Lilia, where as soon as he says that he married Sylphie, Lilia kind of looks relieved and like happy about it. And yeah, it was kind of cool. I like that. Then Paul apologizes again and says that if he wasn't so hopeless, he wouldn't have dragged Rudy out here when he's about to be a dad. And they have like this cute exchange about Paul being a grandpa. You know, classic generic stuff, I would dare say, you know. Cute. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then they talk about sex. Crazy. Paul, he's glad. He's like, once in my life, at least, I want to talk about sex with my son. And then Rudy's like, you know what? Actually, I do have questions for you. And then Lilia's kind of just like embarrassed and she doesn't want to talk about it. And Paul mentions, you know, Lilia, she's a bit hesitant, but she's wild in bed. And then she gets embarrassed and Rudy laughs and they chat the rest of the night. And it's really cute. Best scene in this episode. Because they took their time, you know? They actually did the whole scene.
Bacon, does the fact that he raped her take away from the cuteness EliteAri's talking about?
Is Bacon even here?
Well,
oh, okay. So he's just deep in thought.
Yeah.
How to respond to such a question.
Isn't Mushoku Tensei just so problematic and bad?
She is his maid as well, right?
That too, babes.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe Paul isn't that great. No.
Paul is not a good person.
But it's okay, guys. Everybody says Paul's a terrible person.
He is.
What did I think of this team? I thought it was nice. I thought it did put like it's really easy in this anime just to kind of forget how much time has passed. I think that's probably my biggest qualms with that at the moment. And it's nice to have lines where it's like, oh wait, yeah, Paul didn't actually not see his son growing up, and he actually really it'd be nice something for him to like he'd actually care about doing. Like Paul cares a lot about doing the actual father things with Rudy, right? Like particularly when he's younger, like teaching him how to fight and stuff like that. Like Paul likes doing that. So, and it's kind of mentioned later on that he's really giddy about this. This is the most giddy he's been since Zetas joined their party, or something like that. So yeah, it's cute. Yeah. I will say that Xenia, yeah, she's I've like zero reason to care about her.
I love Xenia. That's the combination of Paul's two wives.
Jesus. Okay.
It's Lilia Bacon, and the other one's Zenith, and you combined them. It was funny.
Oh, did I? Oh, anyway, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, both of them are pretty
Generic
lacking
and boring.
character-
Bacon, say it.
lacking
Oh my God.
characterization at the moment. So
Actually, Lilia's cool, right?
All right. I'm glad to hear all this. Next up.
it was a good.
Hold
season.
on. I would usually. I think. All of this is Dragon Ball trauma, by the way. Everything I say is generic, is just because Dragon Ball did it, and but Dragon Ball's still cool. I feel like that was a massive thing for me in Dragon Ball, where like 20 years would pass, and we were supposed to pretend like these characters just saw each other for like the first time in 20 years, which is whatever. But then like it doesn't really seem like it. But so that time passing thing that Bacon brought up is something there's a million other anime that is like that too. Like Naruto probably does that. It's always like weird, and it's like it never feels like that much time has passed. But I never felt that way with Mushoku Tensei. I don't know if it's because Mushoku Tensei is good or if I just don't care and I'm not invested enough. But EliteAri, you can take that as a win if you want. Wait,
Okay.
EliteAri, do you ever feel that way?
There's so many elements to that question. Firstly, the show feels like a completely different
About
show
the
at this
time
point
jump thing.
because of just how bad season 2 is production wise. So to me, it's like, oh my god, remember the good days when Lilia was like a character and she looked really good and like animated really well and everything. Oh my god, it's been so long since then. And I kind of feel that like big divide. It feels like a time divide. And also at the same time, in terms of just me, when I'm reading the light novel, it like a whole volume is a very big thing. A volume takes a lot of time to read, even though it's only like 7 hours or something. But it feels like a lot has happened in every volume, and it really, when you see someone like 7 volumes later, it's like, oh my god, it's like that's like Lilia from like volume 2.
That's what I'm talking about. But like
the light novel's good again and the anime's bad. I see.
But no, wait.
well,
just
that's what I was expecting.
to defend the anime, I do also, however, think that between whatever episode episode 4 of the anime and then episode like 17 of the anime where Paul shows up again from the last time he saw Rudy, to me that already feels like a big span of time. And it's like, wow, it's been so long since Rudy was a tiny little kid and saw Paul, and now Paul's so different. It really does feel like that time has passed in only like 10 episodes. So I think it is possible for the anime to do it really well. I can't tell at this point
I
because I've
think
just been poisoned
it's
by the light novel.
it's more reliant on the binge though, in the sense that
Maybe.
like we've had to wait. Like I've waited like 2 years for this next season, right? And so I've had my brain not with Mushoku Tensei in mind at all for that whole time, and then I come back into it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Like it's all truncated for me. But if you watched it all at one, you'd be like, it's all more fresh on the dome. So it's kind of like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I do remember this kind of thing. That does feel like a really long time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I see what you mean.
so-
Definitely. Okay. So, diving into the labyrinth.
Keep going, EliteAri.
So, Lilia, Viera, and Shiera, they stay outside the labyrinth while the rest of them dive in. So, oh my god, sorry, I hit my mic there. Rudy gives some exposition about the labyrinth. He says that stepping on a circle will teleport you, pretty obvious. But not all circles glow, so you have to make sure that you step in Geese's old footprints, because he intentionally left these footprints for safe places to step.
Okay.
No.
I was confused, but now that makes sense.
Yeah, Geese is like the brains behind this entire crew. Without him, they would not be able to traverse this labyrinth at all. So yeah, a spider-like monster appears, and EliteAri goes in to kill it, but then Paul beats her to it, and clearly he's trying to show off to Rudius, which I think is really cute. And EliteAri tells him off and tells him to set a good example for Rudius's first labyrinth dive. So any problems with this, guys? I can imagine Kyle having an issue with this.
I love this labyrinth stuff. Actually, not really. This stuff was okay, but when Roxy shows up and pees, that's really cool.
All right. Then they find the circle that leads to the second stratum, and Telehan gives a bunch of warnings. So don't use fire because it fills the room with poison, which Rudius is like, oh, probably carbon monoxide. I know that from my previous world. Then don't attack.
Cool.
It is cool.
Plastic bottles, bro. Crazy.
True, plastic bottles, yes. Don't attack the ceiling or use too much water because it could cause a cave-in, so stick to ice magic. And then when Rudy does use ice, Talahan notes that Rudy uses the same spells as Roxy, which is a nice detail. Then they arrive in the second stratum and take a break, and Paul is more serious here than he was in the first level. Then Geese points out that if the book is right, the teleporter traps only send you to other parts of the same level, so Roxy might be somewhere on the next level. And then Geese asks Rudy to guess where Roxy is based on intuition, and then he notices something in the wall to his left. So, anyway, any thoughts on this stuff? This might be where
Wait, is this something I got from Crunchyroll comments, or is this...
Go ahead, yeah.
Wait, Wait, I didn't hear what you said.
I was gonna say that
Speak
like
around
this
Elite Ari,
this was where Bacon was saying it was really fast paced, I guess. So you'd probably have a lot of issues with this section, but anyway, yeah.
No, it's after
Dungeons
this.
are boring. Let's get through it quickly. That's my opinion.
All right. I mean,
Well-
okay, let me say, I guess I took issue with this. To me, this did feel very fast. And also because it's the same issue that I always have in any story where it's like, even in this story, a little bit, which is that, less so in the light novel, okay, it's only an anime complaint here, don't worry, guys. Initially, they do the nice thing, Rudy gets teleported to the demon continent all the way in season 1, he has to teleport back, travel back, and it takes like a whole season to get back. And then the next time we travel, it only takes a month, and it's only one episode, okay, instead of half of light novel volume. And that annoys me because I'm like, okay, we did the thing back in the day and it was really good and we got the details and now we're just like skipping over it. This kind of feels like a similar thing where it's like, we hear that in the past they would do these deep dives and it would take them so long and it'd be like a really involved thing and multiple weeks to like kind of dive deep into the labyrinth. And here we are doing them like less than a day or like a few hours or whatever. And it's like, oh, I guess I wish we could have seen all that, like we could have seen the difficulty of the labyrinth instead of just being told it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, yeah. All right.
And then they just find Roxy straight away.
Well, there's obvious reasons for this, right? And I think that's
Well-
what I was about to bring up. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know
go
if
ahead.
this was in the episode or I just got this from Crunchyroll comments, or it's like, obviously Bacon, he can like smell her panties is like the reason he knew she was there.
No, it's because he saw water on the wall.
But yeah, but obviously that's not going to be the reason next episode because we're going to do a horny joke. Maybe it was just a Crunchyroll joke, huh? But the
I
water
really
thing is
hope
there
not.
too.
I really hope not.
The penny joke would be genius, though.
That was so stupid.
It
would be
Bacon
literally
doesn't
the
like
one
when he
thing.
prays to the panties all the time. He's lame.
No, it's like the most. It's when it becomes the most cringe generic isekai, and I have to trust that this author is actually doing something interesting and not being.
That is the interesting part, Bacon. Tell him, EliteAri.
Well, it depends. Is he being interesting or is he not? Like, and that's every time I'm worried. And then every single time it's like, oh, here's Roxy, and then let's get an up the skirt shot of her so we can remind the audience why they should care about her.
Yes.
And then I'm just like, geez, okay, good grief. And then it just like there's like this is fake tension right here because it's like I imagine that a light novel, it may skip to her point of view. You like have a lot of time grueling it, and then at the last moment, as soon as like it gets you invested in the story, then Rudy breaks through, right? But here you're just like, oh, Rudy's found her, and then the whole scene is like undermined. It's like, well, he's just gonna pop in at the last moment, and it's like so fast, and it's like, oh, of course, Rudy's like better at ice magic than her now, and it's just super. Yeah, it's just like then she starts wetting herself. I'm just like, of course, it's trying to be Made in Abyss. Here we go.
So Kyle, you
kind of
you like it being apparently.
It was so cool.
What was cool about it? What did you like?
I don't know. I saw it and thought it was really cool. And then he saved her.
Okay. Let me recap it. Okay, firstly, wait before I recap.
I think it is because it's hot, by the way.
Okay.
But I don't really usually find peeing hot. But
all right. Well, okay. Thanks, Kyle. That's great.
You are depraved, my friend.
I have a whole note about hot actually equaling good, so we can talk about that later, but I'll let EliteAri get to
So
it.
3 things now. Firstly,
we're nearly done.
let me know if you agree with Kyle in the comments. Okay, please, we need comments on these. It's great. Now, second to that, firstly, I didn't even notice the pee the first time through until I went to like Reddit comments and read them, and they're like, Roxy peed in this episode. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? I had no idea what they were talking about. I had to go back and like watch it again. So yeah, it was I would say it's subtle because I missed it, but I mean, maybe it's not subtle, maybe it's too obvious. I don't know. Now the third thing to talk about is that, I'll do it again. In the light novel, this is an entire perspective chapter where we follow Roxy's entire month in the labyrinth. We see her, we see her struggles. We see what she did to like kind of stay alive. We get like flashback, like even in the end here where she's like losing her, she like stumbles here because she like loses her mana or whatever. She can't cast any more spells. In there we get like a whole thing where she like her life is flashing before her eyes and she's thinking how sad she is. She'll never see her parents again. And we get like a whole internal monologue of her there. And obviously this chapter is much more detailed than this flash here. And maybe that's the most disappointing part of this episode. We just don't. Maybe we'll get it next episode. It's possible, but they never do it when I say that. So I don't have faith that they're gonna.
And then
do
she
this
blushes because
perspective
Rudy
thing.
comes in. Oh, this is like this is like trashy isekai 101.
Yeah, this is a very generic scene.
Really strong. It is.
I think
guys
it's
are
intentionally.
retarded.
It's intentional. Obviously, you would have to. You would say this is generic, Kyle. There's no way you would say this isn't generic. I think it's generic, but
No, it's
intentionally
cool.
so. Yeah, it's cool generic, where it's like this is the moment where the hero, the knight in shining armor, comes in and saves the day, and it's like you've seen it a million times, and I think it's still really cool that when you see it. I don't want to say more than that. Actually, we'll get more
I
of this
think it's
next
not
episode.
generic because Roxy is only now realizing that she wants to fuck Rudy, and that's cool.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's been 10
to
years.
me, it just like once again just screams like we are in the power fantasy isekai phase, and I don't trust this show at all. Like, it's just
I am
Well,
curious
endlessly
then, Bacon.
frustrating. There we go.
What is it about? Like, is it because we're seeing it from Roxy's perspective here? Like that you see a knight in shining armor come in. Is that what you think is like? I just don't understand why you don't like this. I guess. Like, what's the cringy isekai aspect of this? Because we're not seeing it from Rudy.
I think it's just. I mean, Carl
It's that
said
he's gonna
not
get all the bitches,
watched-
EliteAri. That's the
Yeah,
cringe part.
it's like the most basic like power fantasy isekai like incel dream of like I'm going to get all the girls.
Wait,
in this world
so you
kind of
see
thing.
this as
Gotta get my harem going.
when Rudy steps in here, you see this as a positive scene for Rudy because he's going to get with Roxy. Is that what you think is happening here?
That's
No,
the
it's-
most
it's-
obvious thing in the world.
Is that really okay?
It's-
That's an
it's
interesting take. I guess we'll see what you think next episode.
It's
but-
showing that Roxy is falling in love with him. I'm just like, not another girl following in with our protagonist.
Oh, okay,
Wish
that
fulfillment
makes more
for everybody
sense.
watching this. If that makes sense, I'm just like, give them a bit more personality, please. Like give
She's
some
got so
other-
much personality, Bacon. It's Roxy.
Yeah, well, get a more autistic episodes. That's great. But
No,
yeah,
that's not even
it's-
the cool part about her. That's
No,
just
that's
the
great.
soy thing everybody soys about, Bacon. You're soy, just like all the soys.
Well, yeah, I am literally
soy.
soy. I eat soy every day.
No, Bacon, you're super buff and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, I guess I would have
Soy
to say I
protein
disagree
is
with
actually
Bacon,
the best
so-
protein after milk and eggs in quality. Go look at your PCAAs.
Don't worry, EliteAri's idol also drinks soy all the time, so we're all down with that too. So
My idol?
Yeah.
Oh, Destiny? Wait,
Yeah.
what? Is that a no
Fucking
way?
idiot, catch up.
No, it's not my idol. Anyway,
No,
yeah,
okay,
Bacon's
so
wrong.
I just think
Basically, that's
I-
the takeaway here. But okay, yep.
I think it's just like it's and then it's just like the like it's just there's so many stuff. I'm just like this is back to Mushoku Tensei when it's at its worst, in my opinion. Or I just feel like I can't trust it. And I'm just like I'm not sure where this is going. And it's also like it's
Okay.
It's like you
I'm
said,
gonna-
it's the framing of Roxy, and it's
Wait, no,
also
I
like
want to defend it, EliteAri. You shut your mouth.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I understand what Jarkey Bacon is saying. Now, I've never seen one of these other isekais, but I hear, I got lost in a dungeon with 50 bitches and I fucked them all. It's like what an isekai is or whatever. First of all, based, I'm going to watch that show after this one. Second of all,
no, you're not.
isn't Mushoku Tensei's like defining thing that we actually they actually do the sex scene? So isn't a Roxy Rudy sex scene actually going to be fun? Like, isn't that going to be cool to watch? Isn't it going to be weird how it happens? Like, isn't that good? Like, I get how generic isekai are bad, but this isn't a generic isekai, EliteAri. I mean, Jarkey Bacon.
True.
This is Mushoku Tensei, that great television show. Like, I feel like that's the best thing about Mushoku Tensei, and it probably leans into the trope or whatever. Actually, Mushoku Tensei invented the trope. Shut up, audience. But that's like the cool part. That's what I want to see more than anything else.
For me, the cool part is that it subverts and actually tries to be like, this is what you think you want, but this is what you should want, and then criticizes the viewer for it. That's what I think is cool about.
Subversion's lame, EliteAri, isn't that what I always...
Yeah, Kyle does say that sometimes. Now, okay. I'm curious,
don't.
Bacon. What would you think of this scene if it wasn't Rudy coming in here? If it was some random adventurer in another party, would you still think it's bad? It's told the same way, the same like random character steps in, but instead of it being Rudy who steps in, seen from Roxy's perspective, it's someone else, some other knight shining
Maybe
armor.
it would be less bad, but it's more just how Roxy is like portrayed, and it's just like the cinematography around her, the choreographing. It's like
So you don't like
some
Roxy
ways.
falling in love with someone who saves her. You don't like that as a concept in this story.
no,
Like,
I think it's to me it's just like the unnecessary sexualization of a character in like her darkest moment, which they do. I'm just
So
like,
yeah,
okay.
but I'm trying to distinguish between her like the shot of her like from lower down or whatever, seeing her pee herself and stuff. I'm trying to distinguish, is that what you're concerned with, or with Rudy stepping in and Roxy falling in love with her, that aspect of it? Or is it both? Is it literally just both?
It's both, but they're separate things. It's not the peeing's just like a bit gross, but I mean it's fine. It's more just like let's get a panty shot up her skirt, like kind of thing. I'm just like, can we just not?
That was sick.
Can we just treat them like as actual like they don't do this for any of the male characters. Like if it was consistent, I'd be like, okay. If it's like One Punch Man, where it's like, yeah, let's just sexualize everybody, that's fine. But it's just like so like it's like, oh yeah, this is built for the male audience, just so obviously, and it's like
The male gaze, Jarkey Bacon, say that one.
yeah. Anyway, it's just from yeah. It's just kind of like
He agreed.
it makes me lose all my trust in the show a little bit. It just kind of peaks it back up. It's like, do I actually trust that this show is criticizing what it's doing properly, or is it also indulging what it's criticizing and being hypocritical?
I think what this is born out of is Bacon was like saw the show and he saw the discourse around the show that like, oh my god, because the show originally went like viral or whatever because the baby was horny and he wanted to fuck everything or whatever, and that's sort of the funny meme you say to Mushoku Tensei. But then once you actually watch the show and you're like, ha, stupid show just for fucking horny pricks. There's also this subsection of EliteAris out there that go, wait, everybody, this is actually a super deep story, and the world building is super sick, and the characters are great, and the plot is so good, and turning point, oh my goodness. And they're trying to sell you to do actually this show is good, and it's not just a meme. And Bacon saw some aspects as he continued that seemed to indicate that, but now he's seeing that maybe those people were lying to me, and we are just doing the sexuality thing. I am hard to break. I don't want to break this to you, Bacon, but I think absolutely around the sexual stuff, it is absolutely indulging in it. I don't think it's critiquing it at all. I don't think we're trying to say Paul was a bad person, now he's a good person. They are saying that, but I don't think they think Paul's horniness was the bad thing. The rape they probably think is a bad, but they also want to indulge in the horny comedy because that's just what anime does, or light novels or whatever. So I don't know. That we're always going to get the sexuality shots, I think, and that's not something it's looking to criticize. But also, tell me if I'm lying about the perception thing.
Well, I think part of it is like I watched the show. I think I started watching remember episode 4, probably because I saw Mother's Basement was like, oh, here's an interesting isekai or whatever. No, I watched it before content.
No,
get out of here, man. Get out of here. I'm OG with Mushoku Tensei anime. Watched it before Ari.
Yeah, way before.
Look at me go. And so I think it's more like that there are aspects of Mushoku Tensei which I really like, right? There's like, and it's basically all the stuff where it's like, it's basically all the stuff. This is why I like Free Run more, probably. But it's like exploring the world, and it's interesting, and it's like you're kind of hanging out in your party, and it's a fun fantasy thing. And then it does do interesting stuff with the isekai on top, and that gives it a pass, right? For basically stuff I don't like.
Isekai?
Right? No, it's not. It's just fantasy. But there's basically like it's got bits about it that I don't like, and then those bits are kind of made better because it's a critique of it. But then it does also then go back and indulge in it. I'm just like, that just lessens the message and undermines your point. And it's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, surely. Right? So I think that's like my... Anyway, this is going to be what my whole video is about. So anyway, if I ever was going to make it. So, yeah.
All right, so wrap... Well,
he's just going to say, well, I can't say anything.
No, I can say stuff. And there's some aspect of this scene, obviously, I can't say.
That's what he used to say to me.
Now... What I can say is if Bacon, you know what? I don't know how clear you were in what you were saying, but the sexualization in this scene, if you're actually referring to sexualization and not like Roxy falling in love, then I am fine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's completely fine with me. I can completely understand it. I also took issue with this in the early Mushoku Tensei stuff in season 1, and I can completely understand if you think that they're framing Roxy in a very male-dominated sexual like eye or whatever, like from their perspective. That's fine. I would probably agree with you there that I don't like, and I wish I prefer they didn't do it. However, Roxy feeling as though someone's stepping in here and saved her and being kind of taken off her feet or whatever the expression is and being like, wow, this person saved me.
Swept off her feet.
I have no issue with that, and I would definitely defend that as a story thing.
So what I'd say is that like the second part of that, I think I'd like it more if there was just more time to get invested into Roxy's character. like
Okay.
you would in light novel. You spend time from her perspective, right? You have time, but here it's just like very quick. It's kind of like there's no emotional payoff. It's like, oh, we're back together. I think on the sexualization aspect, if it's in the early parts of the series and it's almost like we are looking through this like as Rudy's lens, right? And then as Rudy matures, we also like
The show itself matures.
female characters are, yeah, and it does not portray it. Then that's smart. But here it still's like, oh yeah, no, we're saying all this stuff. Oh no, but we'll go back on what we're saying and still appease like the base.
Yeah, I don't
I
don't have an issue with that
So
complaint.
which
That's
then
fine.
I think, yeah, which I think is basically my issue. What can I say?
Yeah,
I just think
Well,
I
I've got
just
an
think
issue with that complaint.
Oh,
I think it's just like it's also I guess Carl is like probably in the opposite way where it's also like if you're going to defend this series and be like, no, it's actually big brain, it's not indulgent,
It
yada yada
definitely
yada,
is.
it's actually really smart, and then you're just like don't pretend it's not like, and then Carl's definitely not going to, but then Kyle also won't.
Well, yeah,
invest
I'm going to lean into the sexuality is actually good part. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I think most people will do what you're saying, Bacon.
like, yeah, but then again, that's also probably people who are like, too mature to be to back themselves on what they like, right? So.
True.
So,
That's a Carl Entertainment talking point.
yeah.
I will say just quickly because I don't think I even said it. I think for me there was a ton of like this was so cool. Like, oh my god, Rudy and Roxy are together again. I was freaking out. So Bacon said that there wasn't a lot of emotional payoff. For me, there was EliteAri, so tick that off in the Carl Entertainment as good
excellent.
category. Okay.
We love Kind Entertainment.
The best,
Should have said this at the
the
beginning
best part of Roxy
before
is when
everybody clicked
Rudius isn't there. Roxy's better when Rudius isn't around.
True.
No, it's gonna be so cool now. I guess I have 2 Roxy points. I've written down 3 notes, guys. Just as we've been going. I think the only interesting thing about Roxy and the most interesting thing about Roxy is that she's always been very awkwardly sexual. And I thinking, and she's also been always like awkwardly incompetent in some regards. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
and I think that the peeing and the getting cornered here is like both of those things. So I think that's good.
It's kind of like a bit embarrassing for her. Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of tries to be stoic sometimes. It's like, oh, you're not that girl, and that kind of makes her cute or whatever. So that was the first point. Another point is a more general thing that I'm going to apply to Mushoku Tensei here because I've been thinking about it and it's funny, but I also believe it. I think because Bacon's talking about the sexuality sort of takes you out of it. I remember me and Miller one time got in a massive argument about the 4th Ava rebuild, which I don't think either of you have seen. Where there is just one scene where a character that you don't really know a lot is like breaking down. It's supposed to be like their scene, and they like fall to the ground in like sorrow or whatever. And there is just a pussy shot as she falls to the ground, and it's like 2 seconds, and then you cut back, and it's not like a gag or anything. And Miller was like, "Why would you even put that shot in? This just took me out of it." And I was over there and like, "Nah, it's pretty good." And I was just saying, and part of it is Lamau horny, but I think part of this overall point is, and my dot point here reads, hot equals good character. I think this just is generally a thing. It's obviously a thing in real life where like attractive people will talk to you and you'll be like, and you'll like immediately think they're like a good person. There's like, what's the meme stat that backs up this thing? It's like, oh, like
It's attraction
75%.
privilege.
Yes, generally. Most CEOs are like 6'2" or above or something. And it's like, well, if a person's tall, you're going to think they're authoritative. And it's just like one of these silly mind tricks. I think the same probably works in fiction. So I think Roxy being sexualized and she pees for a second and you're like, oh my god, panty shot, this is so cool, is sort of like fucks with your brain to make you think it's a good moment. So that might be what happened to me.
For me, it
but I was
does the
just thinking it was
opposite because it's like it's just perverse. And I'm just like,
yeah, I think
what
there
you're
is
trying to
a
make-
toy.
like, there's a conflicting emotion here that you're like trying to make me feel something else, but I see it like, and that's what takes me out because I'm like, oh, it's obvious what you're doing. It's like I've compared this a lot, and if I do make this video, I'll probably make this point as well. It's like when a villain kills a dog, and they're like, well, this is the most cheap way to try and make you hate someone, right? It's done in John Wick.
But I also think
it's like,
cheap is like inherently arbitrary, right?
No, of course, but all of it is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, you already agree with the subjectivity shit, so you're no fun to make fun of Bacon for this point.
Yeah.
But the commenters aren't, so I'll get them Bacon next time, all right?
Yeah, and to me, it's like, hang on, it's cheap, and Mushoku Tensei has already spent all of its cachet on it, right? Like, yeah. I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
I also get mad about like EliteAri's new armor, and then Ari was like, "I'm actually like it's explained in the light novel that
It is.
actually like the less armor you have, the more powerful or something." Like, that's the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. That's like so
Yeah, it's obviously just so she can
like
be hot.
yeah, exactly. I just like,
But it
and then
makes
you're just like,
sense.
where's the Paul? Like, if he's the strongest, why isn't he wearing like a mankini? Can we not get a Paul mankini? Oh, but no. We can't have our men looking hot now, can we?
Yeah,
So
but I feel like even then, because that is something people say a lot, where it's like, and I feel like it's usually like dudes, where it's like, well, if we were being equal, like we would see Paul's fucking cock, bro. But that's not really how like female sexuality works, right? They're not actually attracted to like cocks and abs, really. A
well,
lot
why
of the
can't we
time,
be
it's like
like a
if Paul
delicious
was like
dungeon
nice and
where
controlling
all the
or something.
panty shots are of the big dwarf dude? Why not?
Yeah. We could like that would be an interesting stylistic statement. I just don't think it would have the same effect when you're trying to be subversive and be like, well, actually, this show is for the girls. If it was for the girls, they would all look like Harry Styles and like they would
And
never do anything crass, and they would be like
well, and this is
male
why
sexuality and female sexuality seems
this
to be
is why
different.
like we should probably watch something like Fruits Baskets or
True.
this other Junji
Let's do a
Koiku, which
shoujo.
I was talking about, which is like a female protagonist written by a female author on an isekai, which is like very different from the 2000s, right? Like
Should watch
that would be
Portrait of a Lady on
interesting.
Fire. Yep.
Yeah,
Sick.
get but actually no, but like anime written by women, for a female audience, like
See,
shoujo,
Bacon,
basically,
we got to
right?
get out of anime. That's the bad part, you know.
Well, I think there's part of it where I'm just like, there's also a sense of like, oh my word, here we go once again. The Japanese have struck again with their cultural
That
normalities that
Japanese
clashes.
sexism, Bacon.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, just like, oh, here's Miyazaki, the quote unquote Disney guy of anime, and here's like a random scene in Castle in the Sky where
I can defend that Castle in the Sky one though. It's about her growing up, bro.
yeah, and all the men who are like 40 years old are lusting after her. I'm just like, what? Like,
Yeah,
what
but
is
it's
going
also
on here?
paralleled with the shots of the boy like shoveling coal because he's growing up too and being a man, and she's being a woman. But yeah, it's like stooped in very ancient gender roles and stuff like that, and that's problematic too, Bacon. But there's slightly more thought than that, I guess. But
Yeah, there's a bit more, but it's just like everywhere, and it's like, if I think I said this
it's
before,
also a
if Mushoku Tensei was the only anime I ever watched, I'd almost be only Japanese thing I ever watched. I'd almost be more um probably likely to give it a pass. But because I've watched My Hero, where it has Grape Boy looking through the bloody, they always have to have a
that's
beach
epic, bro.
episode or whatever, you know, like, or like an onsen
Momo's
episode,
tits,
and you're
bro.
just like, yeah, it's just like, anyway,
Jake, I said
Bacon.
Jaken. Oh my god, now I'm combining
Jacob.
names. Oh my god, it's come full circle. Remember when Bacon did that just before? Bacon, how much do you think it's born out of like insecure embarrassment on our part? Do you think the fact that we don't like it in Castle in the Sky is because one day you're gonna recommend it to somebody and they're gonna think you're a disgusting perv because in this one thing you said you held with in such regard, like Miyazaki and the reputation he has, and then he's just got a 11-year-old girl panty shot in his movie?
I don't think it does, but for me, if I was to just do psychoanalyzation on myself, I'd just be like, I grew up in a religious household, so I'm very sensitive to these things. So
Hmm.
very more
See,
simple
I
answer.
didn't, and I think I was definitely like you on a lot of these aspects until like I don't know. I think this like the like me fully devoting myself to the subjectivity cult as I do as my hands over my heart right now. I'm saluting. Um I think because yeah, I used to get really mad at Casca falling over and nearly getting raped all the time and being like, this is like kicking the dog, this is terrible, this is like just cheap tension and everything like that. And then I sort of went through my phase and was like, well, there's not really anything that's actually cheap, and it's just your perception, and it's actually a problem with the viewer, not with the piece of media and stuff like that. And I think that actually I did actually trick myself into not having that base reaction anymore because I think I would think exactly what you're thinking now, like 2 or 3 years ago. But I don't know, it's just interesting that I can sort of like trick myself out of it, I think. Or maybe I wouldn't have, and this is all based, and I'm still the same person, and people don't actually change, and
Yeah, well,
this is
I
all
would say
bullshit.
Berserk is pretty bad at that. It's another series
Yeah.
where everybody's like, man, it's so deep and so thoughtful, but it does have a few bad things. And I'm just like, dude, it is also incredibly indulgent, and it's actually not that mature IMO, but that's okay. That's fine.
But do you think sexuality in depth got like remove things, or do you think it's? I think it's just the cheap
I
sexuality.
think it's
right?
what makes something feel edgy, you know, and edgy is generally like a
Yeah.
connotation of something trying to act more mature than it actually is, right?
Yeah, and you see like a crack in the armor, which is like, well, this is kind of an immature moment, Berserk. You shove your fucking deep guts monologue up your ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also know a lot of people who like have read Berserk till the end, and they just don't take it that seriously. Like they think,
Yeah.
oh, the art's great, fair enough. Like it's got some cool parts in it, yeah, but it's like they're not going to be like I'm Super Eye Patch Wolf and I'm 38 years old and I still think it's the greatest thing of all time. And I'm going to make
True, Berserk's
3
the little
billion
kids.
hours of the. No, it's just
Drag 'em.
like they just don't have that attachment to it. And, you know, I'm not dunking on Super
Yeah.
Eye Patch Wolf.
It is
for that,
interesting
right?
because
But it's just like
your favorite thing is Vinland Saga, and Vinland Saga really doesn't have moments where it like drops the egg on its face like that. Like all the rape scenes are like tasteful, if is a word to describe them, and like I guess like Ymir or something might be the egg on the face Vinland Saga moment. I don't
yeah,
know. Bacon's
maybe.
making it out scot free. You know, it all follows.
Yeah, I
Wait,
watch
Vinland
good
does the
stuff. What can I
Vinland
say?
has the comedy aspect though, right?
It
Like
does have comedy, yeah.
injects comedy into it that people don't like.
But it's not like, look at that bitch's tits, bro.
Well, it's like look at this comedy that
Which
I'm
is seen
adding.
as more lowbrow.
Well, why is it seen as more lowbrow? I would say
Yeah,
comedy is
and that
pretty
is sort
lowbrow
of
too.
later, which is what people would be like, Vinland Saga's bad because later on Thorfinn's joking too much. Thorfinn
Yeah.
doesn't really joke.
But even then, it's cut
Somebody's
more of the
joking.
comedy out recently, like in the last arc.
Well, yeah, it has, but I'm just saying, like, if you're
My
comparing
theory is that
Berserk and
Yukimura
Vinland-
read Golden Kamuy was like, oh, I don't mind to be more like Golden Kamuy, and
I've never seen that. I don't know.
yeah, it's
like a
more.
train and
We
stuff.
should actually read Golden Kamuy because that's written. That's got a lot of male fan service in it, and I think another thing for me being hypocritical, Vinland Saga has a ton of has way more male fan service in it than female, right? So, there is a
I don't
reason
think
why
it's
there's.
fan service though.
I mean, there is a scene where it's like Thorfinn's like literally getting washed.
Yeah, they're all like shirtless and totally buff, but again, I don't think that's fan service.
Well,
Like, it's
I'll say
the
there's a
same
reason why
distance
there's a
as
lot
Jake.
of female fans for a reason.
I mean,
in the Vinland Saga
Ruja doesn't wear a
series.
I
shirt,
don't
right?
think so either.
The whole
Yeah,
first
that's true.
season. Like, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was stupid one time. So that I'm happy to point out when I'm being inconsistent.
All right.
But that's because he's like a weird alien guy, Bacon, and you're a racist.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, maybe.
Yes, I'm racist. Let's go that one. That sounds good.
All right. Well,
all right. Do you have anything?
I get
to add to this conversation?
my whole take on this is that, you know what, when it comes to I assume you're talking about fan service here, right, and sexualization of characters in anime. Sometimes I don't care at all. For instance, this Roxy thing, it just didn't stand out to me as any particularly egregious thing, but I can understand if someone like Bacon did see that. Sometimes it's like mildly like weird, where I'm like, oh, that was a bit weird. Like when in season 1 and 2 of Black Lagoon, where randomly you just get like a random naked stripper who's dancing on a pole. Like that was weird, but I don't. It doesn't. It doesn't really bother me at all. Like I'm like, oh, okay, interesting, weird choice. It's just like any other choice in like a story where I'm like, oh, that was kind of weird, but yeah.
It is funny what, like, because sexuality sometimes can, like, if we're just talking about general perception, like, if you have an R-rated show and there's just, like The Sopranos, right? Half of the scenes in every episode are just in the strip club and there is just naked girls dancing in the background with like giant fake 90s tits. But people don't say like, oh my god, that's so lowbrow, because it's like, oh, strip clubs are seen as sort of like an adult mature thing. Whereas like Master Roshi grabbing somebody's boob is like a dumb kid thing. Everybody's a hypocrite.
I think there would be a limit on that. I think like actually The Wire was similar at some point doing it as well. It's like, okay, I get that this is their base of operations, and like, these places are like seen as like not like less like more crass, and so of course like if you're a gangster, you're only working out of this this location,
yeah,
right.
I think it
that
might
makes
just be an
sense.
envy thing now that I think about it. Like, oh, I would love to hang out at a strip club all day, so that's cool.
I
Whereas,
definitely
like,
would not.
I don't want to be a groper. Yeah, I know, but I think generally that's definitely the perception of, like, that's why, like, in rap videos, there's like naked chicks all the time. It's like,
Dude,
oh, it's
that's
like
so cringe as
supposed
well.
to be envy. Yeah,
Yeah, I find a lot of that stuff pretty cringe. Not gonna lie.
that's pretty cool, bro. I love it. Big titty bitches. All right, the laptop is going flat.
Okay, so
does it
Yeah, to wrap this
I
up.
have one last point, and do you
Okay,
have
say
other
it.
points?
No, I'm literally gonna read out my recap because I did write it, and I'm gonna read it out. But go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you already finished. So you
I
go
wonder if
ahead.
any
No, I'll
commenters
do
would like
mine
to comment
afterwards.
on anything we said there for the last like 20 minutes.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, that's how it should be. I've got 10%
Okay,
battery left. You can do your
Roxy.
recap.
She is fighting. No, it's like we'll get this through as quick. Okay, fighting a legion of monsters using Earth Fortress to guard herself while she fires off water and ice magic. She wipes out a bunch of them, but then more of them arrive in the teleporter. Oh my god! And then Roxy starts losing her strength and stumbles to the floor because she's running out of mana. And one of the monsters shoot a web, and her staff is stuck to the wall. And then she pisses herself. Oh my god! And asks for someone to save her. And then she opens her eyes, and she opens her eyes, and it's glowing blue, and everything in the room has been frozen solid. And she looks ahead. And after 10 years, Roxy and Rudy have reunited. Crazy. Next episode, Magic Circles of the Sixth Stratum. Go ahead, Kyle. What's your point?
My last point is that Isekai is bad, EliteAri, and that this is all retarded video game shit, and I hate it. I hate because all these isekais are like trying to be video games, like Log Horizon or Sword Art Online and everything. And Mushoku Tensei has kind of done this thing where the magic system seems like the stupid MMO shit. And
Hey, why are we at a school for
this
like?
fucking thing,
Are they like MMOs where they spend time at like a university studying?
there's always like
Where they get a
university
house?
location. I think.
Where they buy a house and
This
they
is where
spend time
isekai
learning with
comes from,
siblings?
EliteAri. You're uneducated, unlike me.
You're saying it's an MMO. I don't know about
was-
isekai in general, but you're
You
saying
just said that Mushoku Tensei doesn't do it all the time, but it did it here. So will you let me get to my
go ahead,
goddamn point before you
say
get so
it. Go ahead,
defensive?
say your thing.
Defensiveness, Jarkey Bacon is a what do you call it?
It's a response to
Yes,
Kyle.
it shows insecurity. is what I'm
It
trying to
shows that
say.
I've been beaten
No.
down by Kyle's ridiculous points over the entire show that we've discussed this like every single
Oh,
time.
here
It's
we
like
go
he brings
again.
up another
He's just
dumb
such a
Kyle
victim,
point. Here we go.
Jarkey.
I need a
keep
nice.
hearing this
I need to
victim speak.
address
Oh
this.
my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
He's
What's
got
your
to
point?
cut me off at the beginning. That's what he's
I'm
gotta
sure
do,
you'll
Bacon.
say something of value. Go
Anyway,
ahead right now. Yep. Go ahead.
Every time they're talking about guilds and shit, obviously that's dumb video game shit. Every time they talk about S rank anything, I cringe. It's dumb video game shit. I got an S at the end of the stage, bro. That's pretty cool. That's not from Lord of the Rings, like all the other cool stuff in the show. That's the actual fantasy stuff. We've got these spiders spawning in and walking in unison like it's a wave of video game entities. Then we've got the final wave when you think you're done, but there's more of them. And it's just all terrible and bad.
What if
But
I
also
told
seems
you
that-
that fantasy stories came before video games? Wouldn't that be crazy? And some of these tropes you could
Yes,
actually track them back
Jarkey,
to stories. And
you
what
fucking
you're
idiot.
saying is that when
I
you
didn't
play a
know
game,
that.
oh my god, they're ripping off fantasy stories, and it's the other way around, and you're completely wrong.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that
and
be
then
crazy?
this is ripping off that, so it's the third layer, which makes it even worse.
But how do
Usually
you
we
know?
like
Don't you have to
third
know the
layers,
intentions of the author to know what inspired what? How do you know?
Because I just know.
You just
That's
know?
How
Okay,
I know.
that's
How
fair.
about that? It's obvious and it makes me cringe, just like when Bacon sees a panty shot. But I like that. She peed. It was cool.
Amen.
Good episode.
All right. Anything else, guys?
You know who's got a pee right now, real bad? Me.
Dude,
I'll film it for you.
No,
And that'll
thank
be our
you.
male fan service. You can put it in the end of the video.
Oh boy.
Carl, I don't know if you could do anything that would count as fan service.
Oh wow.
Oh!
Oh my god.
I had Eren Yeager abs for about a month ago, but I think I lost them.
It's a shame.
But I already said that wasn't fan service, Bacon. You should have thrown that back in my
Anyway,
face.
guys, this was Mushoku Tensei episode 20. I don't know when we'll
Well,
record
then
the
our
next one.
predictions.
Yeah. What are your predictions,
What did
guys?
Bacon say?
Actually, wait, before the
Oh,
predictions,
I
before
can't
wait a
predict.
minute. I want to say, my god, just the discussion we had about the Roxy scene here, they better adapt exactly what was in the light novel, and they better not skip anything, or otherwise I'm gonna have a very tough time defending things. So, my god, please stick to the light novel next episode. Is all I want.
I'll
please.
defend it.
Okay. Anyway,
I'll
go ahead.
defend it.
Predictions. Yeah.
Wait, I want to ask Bacon a predictive question.
Oh, man.
Quickly. Is him and Roxy gonna fuck?
Ooh, no.
Do you think
Unless
he's
there's
gonna be
a
loyal to Miss
succubus,
Sylphie?
unless there's a succubus conveniently
No,
involved.
that would be too far. I'd be like, this is cheap nonsense to get out of something. I would hate it.
Oh boy.
They either do it or they don't do it.
There's no way, right? But I guess it would be interesting for character reasons, in the sense that but then we've already done it with Paul supposedly, but they haven't shown it. So, but then maybe it's like father like son. I don't think so. No.
Oh, because you're saying it's like a parallel if Rudy sleeps
yeah.
around like Paul did. Yeah.
Well, it's like he says he doesn't want to. He's committed to Sylphia, and then he's not. Like how Paul said he was committed to the Zenith. What's the name? Is that it?
Yep,
Yeah.
Zenith.
Yeah, Zenith
Catch
would
me on
assume
the
it's the
Zenith,
peak.
bro.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay, that's the only predictive question. I had.
Carl, I've got a predictive question to ask back at you. Are we still on the Paul is dead train?
Oh, we were on that. No, it
Okay,
doesn't
'cause
seem like the.
you
No,
know
but
what
yeah, the
crushed my
man god did
hopes?
say
What
something
crushed my
bad's gonna
hopes?
happen.
What crushed my
Yeah.
hopes was that Ari posted a Paul video and it was like novel
Yeah,
spoilers.
I think I said that at some point too. I think I realized that and said something to him.
Yeah, so
and then he tried to get around it, but I didn't buy it
Wait, what? Wait, what are you taking from
Oh,
my video?
crazy.
I don't even know.
because the video is not something we've seen before. So it means that he can't like.
What
I
was
don't
the
know.
quote
Oh
again?
wait,
What
it
was the
could
quote?
be.
What was the
The
quote?
quote could be like him dying and
last
telling
words.
Rudius in like episode
Yeah,
11.
yeah.
It was like him say, yeah, okay, maybe.
I don't.
Hold up.
For reference, I told them that they shouldn't read into
literally
my
always
video
says,
at all.
Don't read
because
into what I say.
well, all right, you know what? You'll
Don't
see.
read in.
You'll see.
Save her even if it kills you. That could be
Yeah,
who's
that's-
her?
Zenith, when he's dying after the ice dragon gets him in episode 11, Rudy's got to go and save her.
Sure.
But I don't think so.
But
I don't have the balls.
No.
Mango
I
did
feel
say
like
something bad would happen.
Well, he said Rudy would regret going here, but yeah.
I feel like okay. No. Zenith will be saved physically, but not like actually. She won't be there. She'll be like Casca or something.
Oh, and a Casca situation? Her mind's broken?
Yeah. Or she's not the same somehow, right? And then that's what he'll regret.
That would be
new
cool.
prediction, and then Paul's quote comes in later. That does sound like a quote where he'll say when he dies, like "save it even if it kills you." But or maybe actually, what happens is, they save Zenith, they go back, and Sylphie's gone.
Yeah, that's
and
what I think I said that at some point too. Yeah, like he's in the it's another parallel where like Sylphie gets kidnapped, and now it's like, it's like the thing.
It's your duty as there's your wife, and you have your kid.
True.
The thing is, this is a young Paul here. He kind of looks like he's in the Scouts regiment in this thumbnail.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
All right.
Excellent predictions.
Wrap it up, my friend.
Thank you guys for joining.
God damn it.
See you. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after. Whenever it is, see you then.
Next Tuesday.